Destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro V. From pros to prep.
Living.
What did you?
Good back there?
I am very good, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Nikola Jokic hits a shot last night. You think I'm wrong? If this was the playoffs, it's one of those that just adds to his lore that you would remember forever against the Warriors, ending a 24-3 run, taking them back from being down by 20 or 19 or whatever it was. The Nuggets win 130-127. The scenario is 3.6 seconds to go. They have it in the backcourt. So what do? Coaches always say, put the ball in the hands of your best player. So you drop a 40-footer bank shot from the right wing by a 7-footer, and it was insane.
This one,
yeah,
while it might not be remembered for as long as it would have been if it's a playoff buzzer beater, it's going to be remembered for a while because it's another dagger in a frustrating moment in the franchise history. Golden State Warriors. That is the fourth time this season they have blown an 18-point lead in a basketball game. Yeah. The Golden State Warriors. Yeah. They let the Denver Nuggets finish that game on a 25-4 run.
Nuggets outscored them in the fourth quarter, 36-20 after being outscored. Golden State were 44-24 in the third quarter. And I mean, they outscored them, right? The Nuggets were outscored by 20 in the third. That's why the NBA, people tell you all the time, I just got to watch the last 4 minutes. That's really all that matters. Yeah. And in some respects, they're not wrong. And
this is pretty high in the class meter for the Golden State Warriors to lose that game at home when you're playing well. And Steph Curry was doing his thing. Yeah. Young players in the rotation. Steve Kerr was leaning on them when they had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter over the Denver Nuggets, and they just imploded on themselves.
Splash Brothers go for 54 combined, 30 for Steph, 24 for Clay. And they had a lead all night. And Nikola Jokic, 34 and 10. I don't know, man. You're a Nuggets fan. I asked you, is he the best? I remember after they won last year, right, when they won. Is he the best, this side of Elway, Denver pro athlete in history, right? And you guys, I mean, look, you can go Patrick Waugh. There's all kinds of great Avalanche players. It's a hockey town. I don't know that I think, even though there's some Rockies that come to mind, I don't think there's one that exceeds this. I mean, to me, as an outsider, right, guy who's never been a Denver sports fan and never lived there, to me, it's Elway and him. I don't even know who else is in the conversation.
It's longevity, it's MVPs, it's a championship.
Moments like this.
I know
you all
think
love
about the Denver Nuggets. As NBA champions.
Yep.
There was a time you're just watching the Nuggets, you're like, they're one of those teams, like the Detroit Pistons, you're just like, whew, is this ever going to change? Is this ever going to turn around? And absolutely, Nikola Jokic has vaulted up that leaderboard, is an all-time legend. Like, he is not dropping out of Mount Rushmore conversations ever again.
Yeah, I mean, he's earning his spot. There's murals of him in town. He's the man. You see 15s all over everywhere you go.
I mean, who better, right? Elway, because he won 2 Super Bowls, or maybe he sold you your car. I don't know, whichever one it is, right?
Probably both.
But he finally got the Broncos over the hump, right? And he did it in a style that's got him considered still on the list of all-time greats. Although, boy, there's people who just forget Elway and how good he was when you have the conversation, because it's only Brady and Rodgers and Mahomes, and there was life before the year 2005. But he got him over the hump too, and just moments like this on a Thursday night in January, and maybe it would have been different if it was against the Pistons, although I don't know that it would have. But JJ, I think your point's right. The fact that it was against Steph Curry and Golden State, the greatest shooter of all time, watch that. Like that was on a night where the greatest shooter of all time was 5 of 12 from three-point land at 30 points. But the greatest shooter of all time was on the court and had to watch that bank shot, which, by the way, he said, I knew I was going to bank it. Let's stop it. Stop it. The more he does, man, the
Don't
more
doubt him.
it solidifies. No, I don't. I don't doubt that dude. I mean, I doubt that he said I knew I was going to bang it. That's you guys. Are you old enough to remember the old McDonald's commercial? Did you ever see Bird and Magic playing horse?
Oh, of course. For
Do
the
you
Dream
remember-
Team? Of
Yeah,
course.
it was a McDonald's commercial, right? Where it was like off the scoreboard, off the seat, bank shot,
Nothing but net.
nothing but net, right? I mean, that's what that was. I'm going to go 3 dribbles, right corner, bank shot, nothing but net.
You know, part of it goes back with the Warriors when they beat the Nuggets and recruited Iguodala on the court. There's something about beating them now that is so satisfying. So that's part of it.
So that
plays
does
it.
throw into it, right? That it was the
Absolutely.
Warriors, right? And Steph
Absolutely.
Curry had to sit there and watch that.
It wasn't even about Steph Curry.
Well,
It's just
I mean,
the Warriors.
but Steph Curry's the Warriors. I mean, how do you think of the Warriors in the last decade without Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, Klay Thompson?
I think of Mark Jackson
Do you really?
recruiting a player on the court, on
Yeah.
our court.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, people have conversations.
Yeah.
This is one where I look at Steve Kerr because of what he's done over the last 2 weeks. Because his rant following an 18 for 18 performance from Nikola Jokic at the free throw line about NBA defense and officiating, and then him telling Nikola Jokic to stop flopping last night. He on the sidelines just shot at Steve Kerr going, "Come on, man, come on, what are you doing?"
So you're over Steve Kerr?
Well, I'm just like that. We know what that man is doing. That man is maybe ending a dynasty right now.
He's
this
watching.
season
He's watching it
by
crumble in
himself.
front of- Well, you think he's ending it? Like what's he? I guess-
Nikola Jokic.
no, Jokic is okay. I thought you were talking about Kerr.
Like
Okay,
Steve Kerr is
yeah.
doing a whole lot of talking about everyone else and not the Golden State Warriors.
Well, after the game last night, he did talk a lot about his team and about how he feels that they've lost 4 games they should have won. Maybe they won 2 or 3 games they should have lost. But he said he called it a gut punch last night. So he certainly talked about his team. Boy, the NBA was something last night. 130 to 127 was the final. If you've not seen it, and Adrian is so good at this stuff, and I appreciate you doing it. If you're watching us on the visuals, it's there. But man, find it. It's right on the front page of every sports site that you want to go to. But Nikola Jokic with a bank shot at the buzzer. It's 3 dribbles, bank shot, go nuts. But if that happens in May, it is legendary. This one just adds to the legend that is. If that happens in May, it stands on its own, right?
Yes, it does.
It's just one of those where we always, what are the greatest games ever? Well, the ones that really mean a lot. And a Thursday night in early January doesn't mean as much. I'll tell you what, it means something for those Golden State Warriors, because to your point, on a crumbling of a dynasty, right now the Warriors are out of the playoffs. They're a half game behind the Lakers, who, by the way, since we're speaking NBA, there's a little bit of trouble in paradise. Tell me if you've heard this before. Lakers are scuffling mid-season and they're blaming it on the coach. Have you ever heard that before? Has that headline ever been written? I guess I'm going to ask, has it ever not been written? When have you not heard the Lakers are scuffling? It must be Frank Vogel, or it must be Byron Scott, or it must be, in this case, Darvin Ham. Look, last year they changed coaches. No, they didn't change coaches. They did. They got off Frank Vogel. When was it? A year and a half ago? 2 years ago? Whatever it was. And Darvin Ham, took over, and they got to the Western Conference Finals. Is this Darvin Ham's fault? The Lakers are reportedly losing patience. The vibe, according to Austin Reeves, is bleep. Well, yeah, because you've lost 8 of your last 10, and you missed 26 of your 33-point attempts versus Miami. But you guys, hey, in spite of Darvin Ham, they were able to go hang a banner this year and win in the season
tournament.
Yeah. All right. When I hear this with the Lakers, you guys, with all due respect, I go numb. And it's not just the Lakers. You've heard it with LeBron teams, certainly over his career. And I just, okay, I guess the inevitable is they're going to fire Darvin Ham and bring in Doc Rivers. Who are we going to bring in that's going to wave the magic wand this year?
Well, this is a team that the expectations are higher than the reality with who they are right now. They were 4 games above 500 last year. They're trending in that same exact direction this And why are they better? Austin Rivers is a good basketball player. People think he's a star. He's not.
He's had star moments, but is he a star in this league? He's probably not.
He's a good player
yeah.
on what can be a good basketball team. And you look at the Lakers, and it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Of course.
And the rotation, it should be a little bit better. I do agree with that. I think they have fine NBA role players on that team, but you're also going to realize, like, this is who they've been the last 2 years.
So why then is the noise about the coach then?
Because it's the easiest thing to change.
But it's so constant with this franchise.
It's constant with every franchise, and it's magnified with the Lakers.
I guess I'm not hearing it in Phoenix. I guess I'm not hearing it at Golden State. I guess I'm not hearing who else is scuffling right now, right? I don't normally hear it. Oh, Steve Kerr's got to go. I mean, they got rid of Monty Williams in Phoenix, but I never heard it internally. That felt like it was just an owner move, right? I never heard it during the season, unless I missed something, and I could have. That, well, I don't know, man. Monty Williams isn't the guy. We got to get rid of him. I guess I don't hear that. This is an annual thing. I mean, can you set your watch by this? That, it feels like the Lakers are going to scuffle midseason, and it's going to have to be. It can't be in the locker room. It can't be the players. It's got to be the coach. And Anthony Davis plays when he wants to play, dude. And the fact that he's making $40 million a year to go out and look, he's really good in the playoffs when he's healthy. There's a reason they got to the Western Conference Finals, right? There is. He was healthy. He played well. LeBron played well. I just, you guys don't get numb to it a little bit?
It's one of those things that comes with the territory.
With being the Lakers coach.
Yeah. It goes back
it's like
to
Mike McCarthy.
That's what I was going to say. It's the Mike McCarthy conversation. Like if you take a step back and look at it, you're like, that's a pretty good coach, man. Like the winning percentage, the chances that he gives you, but the expectations, it doesn't matter if they're a championship team or not. That's what it always is going to feel like for that franchise. And thus, when you're scuffling, you're in 10th place in the Western Conference, a game below 500. The easiest thing is to talk about the head coach.
All right, we're going to talk a lot of hoops. Kenny Thomas is going to be with us at 9 o'clock. We'll kick it with Kenny. Lobos play Wyoming tomorrow in the pit. We're going to go through last Tuesday's loss to Colorado State with Kenny Thomas, the former Lobo great, the host of the Lobo Live post-game show over on News Radio KKOB. We'll get into some of the NBA stuff. I want to talk to him about the coaches. And look, Kenny's did 11 years in the NBA. How important. He mentions Larry Brown so much. I think I have a feeling what Kenny will say. But I want to talk to him about the vibe of a coach and how important, so many times in the NBA we hear, they just got to roll out the ball. How much do coaches coach in the NBA? And I want his take on this. So we'll get into that with Kenny. That'll be at 9 o'clock this morning. NFL, this weekend, final weekend of the regular season. We're going to walk you through all that. There's a signing that might be significant this morning. And when we get back, Aggies opened up Conference USA play, their first ever Conference USA basketball game. And they played the Miners last night, the I-10 rivalry, how that went for New Mexico State and what it means as they enter conference play. So that's coming up next. Hey, the number's growing. International Protective Service has hundreds of homeowners now who trust them to install alarms and cameras and to keep their eyes on those homes and businesses. They respond quickly. If the alarm goes off, they respond with armed trained officers. Look, the reality is police aren't coming for hours if they come at all. And in most cases, IPS is there within 7 minutes or less. You're traveling, you're doing stuff, you're going to work, you're not around the house. Nothing worse than coming home and finding out you've been a victim of a break-in. If you notice IPS officers at local businesses, Target, Walmart, Nordstrom, wherever you go, IPS is making a major difference for them, and they can help you too. They've helped me for years. They've watched my home when I was gone last week. I let them know I'm gone. They came by a number of times a day. I see them on the security cameras doing external checks, making sure my home is protected. They can do the same thing for you. IPS has a team watching video cameras and monitoring alarms around the clock to secure your home. Cameras are known to discourage criminal activity. Look, your home's supposed to be a place of security. If someone breaks in, it's devastating for that sense of security. Homes that are protected are far less likely to be targeted by the bad guys. The number's 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420. You can look online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque a safer and a better place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Familiar foe, it was the Miners, the UTEP Miners, their I-10 rival who was in town. Of course, that rivalry goes years and years and years and years and years and years and years deep. Aggies were winners last night, 63-53 over the Miners. Christian Cook, 15 points, and Casey Iziagu had 10 points for New Mexico State, who goes to 1-0 in league play. I watched that game. I have never, JJ, I've covered New Mexico State basketball, I think 28 seasons now. I used to call games there. I never heard the Pan American Center called the PAC, but that's what they kept calling it. Have you heard it called the PAC?
No, never used that.
That's what dude kept calling it on ESPN2 last night. It's, here we are at the PAC. The Pan American Center. I see what he's doing. That's what all the kids are doing is acronyms now, right? Everything's an acronym. Nice win for them. I was looking at it. Do you know what the Aggies net is? Any idea? There's 340 teams. Any idea what their net is?
200?
278. Yeah, they're 7-9 overall, but 1-0 in league. If I asked you who has the best net ranking going into league play in Conference USA, would you know? Because I would not have.
Oh, best net ranking in conference.
But this matters locally.
USA.
What if I told you that? It matters a little bit to the Lobo fan. Louisiana Tech.
Well, Tech.
Who is the team the Lobos played and beat. Louisiana Tech has the best net ranking in Conference USA at number 75 and Liberty 76. After that, it's 158 at Jacksonville State. So that will be a one-bid league. It's 3 days in. I don't know where their conference tournament's going to be. I'm going to guess somewhere in Dallas. Everything's either in Vegas or Dallas, right? That's where all the events go. But a nice win for the Aggies last night as they win 63-53. They open up conference play with a victory over the arch rival Miners down at the Pan Am Center. Next up, they will be it's a week off, and they'll go to FIU next Thursday. So that'll be their next game. All right, lots of NFL stuff this weekend, and the playoff scenarios as we go into the final weekend of the regular season, and all kinds of playoff scenarios. I don't know if this will be significant or not. It kind of feels like there's going to be a moment where it will be. Dalvin Cook is joining the Ravens. He went unclaimed on waivers. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to tell you Dalvin Cook goes in there and becomes their bell cow. Okay, I think they rush the ball. DC, you gave me a stat yesterday. I think you were surprised that I knew. The Ravens with Lamar Jackson at quarterback are averaging like 180 yards rushing per game. The first team to average that many yards rushing per game since the Jim Brown Cleveland Browns in the 50s, right? So, rushing the ball is not a problem for them.
Well, and that 180 yards is over his entire career, 77 games.
Right. And so it's insane. So it's kind of the rich getting richer. It's like this to me is like those years where the Chiefs are throwing the ball and they add another receiver. They just add another piece and they add another piece. And again, they lost J.K. Dobbins early. Then they watched Keaton Mitchell go down with a knee injury. Gus Edwards has been good. Justice Hill has been good. They've got Melvin Gordon on that team. I just look at this another piece, and I think there's going to be a moment in the playoffs where Dalvin Cook makes a play. You guys get that feeling, or you just think whatever? Yeah, this is another signing, and an old guy, an old 28-year-old dude, twice said that, an old 28-year-old dude just signs on to a team.
Yeah, running junk miles and the whole bit.
That's so good. Do you know where that comes from? Gianna Raymer, the young lady, the 8th grade sensation for El Dorado. When she was on with us after she won the regional, she talked about how she trains. Yeah, and I just do 5 or 7, just run some junk miles on the off days.
Yeah.
Like junk miles. Stay in it. Do you feel that way, or you think this is just another junk mile signing?
Junk mile signing.
Okay. I disagree, but and we'll see. I don't think huge signing. I think at some point he's gonna make a play, a big play.
Well, we've seen these dudes get signed this year. Leonard Fournette hasn't touched the field.
Where's Leonard Fournette?
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is still going to be behind Gus Edwards. Melvin Gordon's there.
Justice Hill.
And then it's Dalvin Cook.
Would you rather have Melvin Gordon or Dalvin Cook?
They're the same person right now.
All right, so pick one. Right? And that's what they're going to do is their number 3 back.
Dalvin Cook.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that this is not one of those where, okay, look out now.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. You grab some depth because they're a team that always been snake. They've been not always, like the last few years, just snakemen. J.K. Dobbins going down.
Yeah.
Keaton Mitchell, the promising rookie that they really like, goes down. And you're just back to the old reliable Gus Edwards and Justice Hill.
Yeah, and especially at that position.
I tell you what, though, Justice Hill, I watched some of the highlights from last weekend.
Sensational.
That one touchdown that he caught, that was such a beautiful throw. Man, the Ravens, they're so good. I think Justice Hill is actually a really good option. So I'm kind of with JJ that it's a good signing, but I don't know that he sees the field.
Make me an argument that it's not the 2-1 seeds in the Super Bowl, that somebody can beat the Niners and or the Ravens, and why. And there's... Because I can listen to the argument that they are both so dominant and so much better than everybody else. But I don't know that I think that they're both so unbeatable like everybody else thinks. Do I think that they are better than everybody else? I do. But I think Buffalo can really make a run at them if they get in. I think Buffalo's legit. Cleveland's defense is good. Cleveland beat them. That's the most recent team to beat Baltimore. So I think that's there. And the NFC...
We're talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot, the Detroit Lions versus Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
You just said the Cleveland Browns. Who's their quarterback?
Joe Flacco. Right? How much do I believe in magic?
It's the same thing. Joe Flacco, Super Bowl champ, the guy that handed over the reins to Lamar Jackson. This is the best Ravens team that they've had in the Lamar Jackson era.
I think that's right.
And here comes Joe Flacco.
Look, if you ask me who's going to win, I'm going to tell you it's Baltimore. But I'm not convinced it's as easy as a walk. And you've worked with me for a lot of years, man. DC, I believe in magic. I believe in these stories that this stuff happens when the stars align, when scores line up, and all that. Because I've seen it happen so many times. I believe in that stuff.
You know, if Joe Flacco does win a Super Bowl, he joins Tom Brady and Peyton Manning as the only starting quarterback to win with 2 teams. Something. We talk about him being in the Hall of Fame. That's quite a group to join.
I mean, look, it won't bother me if that guy's in the Hall of Fame. There's nothing offensive about Joe Flacco, is there? Is there anything to not like about Joe Flacco? And if he does this, and again, I don't think that they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't. But I think they've got a Super Bowl caliber defense.
It's number 1 overall. I mean,
I think they've got a stud wide receiver. I think they've got a good enough running game. And I think that if you get into a slugfest, they've got a puncher's chance. And if he doesn't make mistakes, he's going to throw you an interception a game. But if he goes 3 touchdowns for 1 interception, I like my chances. I'm not picking the Browns to win, okay? But it will not stun me.
I do appreciate how people are realizing maybe some of these guys are better than we give them credit for, because we're just every single day it's this coach is fired, this quarterback sucks over and over again. And now that Joe Flacco's coming back, people are like, oh, it's pretty good. He had a pretty darn good career.
Here's a stat that supports that. He's been quarterback for 5 weeks. He's got the most passing yards in the last 5 weeks.
He's getting credit for his career just because of these 5 weeks.
Well,
in Cleveland,
there's a few things he's done there, right? I think he's made David Njoku better. Like, he's utilized a guy that I don't know what you guys thought of him, has shown us flashes. Wow, that's a pretty good receiving tight end. And why are they not utilizing him? The tight end is one of the most bizarre positions, and I go to college all the time. Why aren't they using the tight end? Why aren't they using the tight end? Teams that use the tight end, it's just an extra weapon. You look what Mark Andrews did for Baltimore. You look what Travis Kelce's done. You look at what Laporta's done for Detroit. Teams, it's like almost if you utilize it and find it and discover it and develop it, it's almost like an extra weapon.
Gronkowski.
Right? Okay. And so, like, when the Cowboys were great, I mean, look, go through their tight ends, right?
Bruce Johnson.
He's made guys better. He's made Amari Cooper better, hasn't he? Look at Amari Cooper over the last 5 weeks.
You know, it's funny. You bring up their run game. They're actually considered number 6 overall in run.
I'll take that.
I mean,
without Nick Chubb?
And that's what I was getting to. That's such a huge loss early on.
Did you know who Jerome Ford was when the season started?
I did not.
Yeah, you kind of do now, don't you? Yeah, and that's why I think Stefanski, it's so crazy to me in some respects. Early in the year, at some point, we're like, oh, it's just them, and he's going to lose his job. They found Kareem Hunt on the scrap heap, right? They re-signed Kareem Hunt. Now, does he have $1 million? No, he's got 411 yards. But I mean, whoever Pierre Strong happens to be, right? And they're getting it. Kareem Hunt's got 9 rushing touchdowns. Jerome Ford is their leading rusher at 807 yards. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns. And then I look at what Njoku's done, and his numbers have just blossomed. How many yards do you think Amari Cooper's got?
1,100?
1,250. 1,250. And his last bunch of games, he's killing it. Last week, 265, 109 the week before that, 77 the week before that. I mean,
he was a good receiver, man. One of those guys that, guess what happened? Played for the Dallas Cowboys. People didn't think you're good enough.
They got number 88, so we're going to get rid of Amari Cooper. Well, he played for the Raiders too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. All right, when we come back, I want to get into this a little bit. I want to go down. There's some obvious coaching changes I think we think that are happening. There's some that are open. I think Washington. I want to go through some veterans. And is it time? Is it not time? And it doesn't need to be time just because it's time, if that makes sense. Just because he's been there a while doesn't mean it's time for that guy to go. Well, they didn't make the playoffs, Jeff. Be careful for what you wish. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, usually Thursday night football, and annually, including this year, the Super Bowl.
This report is...
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Places this morning, but roads seemed okay. I came in from Foothills, and once I got down the hill a little bit, there was some snow up there, but I thought the roads were good on Tramway and the freeway was good. You guys came in from the west side; it was all right.
Yes.
All right, just be careful. You hit downtown, there's a lot of fog. Kind of yeah. Was no more. You can see out the window. All right, no more. I appreciate the warning though, DC. Be careful; it's foggy and slick down here.
It was rough this morning.
Yeah, but we got in and be careful. Just I realized, wow, I got 15 minutes earlier, and my whole morning goes a little smooth. I don't think I'm going to make a habit of it. Don't get me wrong, but it was good. Yesterday, I was downtown, and where's the storm? Like, what are we talking about? I had a meeting up on Louisiana and Gibson at Kirtland Credit Union, and it was starting to snow up there. And then when I'm back to the office, there was nothing, and so my daughter was up at the house. It's winter break. And she said, "Yeah, no, it's snowing pretty good, Dad. The roads are getting bad." So as soon as I hit Louisiana, it was like the cutoff line, and it started snowing and dumping. And I showed you the picture of the house. I had some snow up there.
Yes, you did.
We had some snow. So be careful on your way in. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in today. 888-922-0610. You're welcome to join us. That's the text line and the phone line. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ's on the X. It's _JJ Buck, and we are visually available for you. Adrian produces on ProView Networks. It's on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. It's on Comcast Channel 26. We're on TV every day. And, of course, on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. All right, so final week of the regular season. National Football League. We've got games this weekend. We'll have Global Women's Basketball for you on Saturday afternoon. That's tomorrow against Boise State. And after that, we will have the Houston-Indianapolis game here. And then on Sunday morning, you get Jaguars and Tennessee. And then you'll get the Raiders and Broncos. Playoff spots that are sealed in the AFC. Baltimore is number 1. Miami is in. Kansas City is sealed up the AFC West. And Cleveland is in as a wild card. Okay? Jacksonville can win and get in. Buffalo can win and get in. Indianapolis can win and get in. And then you got opportunities for Houston, Pittsburgh to somehow find a way in. NFC, San Francisco's number 1 seed. Dallas is in. Detroit has locked up the NFC North. Philadelphia and the Rams have locked up a wild card. Tampa Bay winning in. Green Bay winning in. Other opportunities, teams still alive. Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota. Okay? We gone through coaching stuff. Let me ask you a couple things on coaches in your thoughts. Seattle, if they don't get in, even if they go 9-8, Pete Carroll back another year?
Yes.
It's his choice, right? He's, 73? Although I don't even know what 73 is supposed to look at, but I never think of it looking like that, right? It feels to me that they're on the verge. Now, do I think they took a step backwards? Well, if they didn't make the playoffs, then they took a step backwards. They did. I think you're right. I think he's back. They need a quarterback, or is Geno the guy?
This is one where it all depends on how much it's going to cost to get one. And in terms of, all right, you're not in the top 2, but Jay Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, other first-round graded quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to move up mid-first round to try to grab one of those guys?
They're 15 right now. That's as mid-first round as you can get.
Yeah. And so that's right in that conversation. And I think you should always be talking about it as a franchise when you have a good quarterback, but not for sure. And that's where they are in Seattle.
They're going to need to move up, right? Denver's right as of now. Now let's see how it all plays out after this week. But as of right now, Denver's right in front of them. New Orleans right in front of them. Minnesota's right in front of them. Those are
so Minnesota and Denver for sure.
11, 12, 13, 14. Right now are Raiders, Vikings, Saints, Broncos. All teams that are right where you are in quarterback land, right? Or
I don't think you have to worry about
worse.
New Orleans.
Probably not. No, you're probably right.
And
Atlanta's
that's another team that big cap number kicks in for Derek Carr next season. And that's one situation. Look at the last month, and they're going to convince themselves that it'll be okay.
I think that's right. Atlanta's at number 9. They're probably looking at quarterback. Giants are at 5, probably not.
Well, and that's also very intriguing territory for the Justin Fields sweepstakes.
Well, this is where it gets crazy. And this is why that Bears number 1 pick overall is so valuable, right? Because if they decide that they are staying with Justin Fields, what's that number 1 pick worth? If you're the Broncos and now all of a sudden the Bears decide that they're staying with Justin Fields, all of a sudden now that number what's more valuable, Justin Fields or the number 1 pick? Well, the number 1 pick is, okay? If you are, some of these, look, let's go down the list. Right now, Washington's 2. Now, they may stay fine. Okay, we'll take Drake May if he's there. We're good with that. We can convince ourselves that's our guy. New England's 3. Arizona, I think, is going to stay with what they are. The Giants are 5. Atlanta's 9. All these need quarterbacks. And then here we go in this 11, 12, 13. Raiders, Vikings, Saints, Broncos, Seahawks, 11 through 15. If you're we had this conversation yesterday during Red Zone. DC, you asked, what will the Bears do? And I think that they will decide Caleb Williams is a better player. They reset the clock. I think they trade Justin Fields. That's what I think. But the other side of that coin is, well, dude, we keep Justin Fields. What kind of haul can we get for that number 1 pick that turns into Caleb Williams? I've already got, if I'm the Bears, I'm picking at 10, right? I've already got the number 10 pick. If I get a load and I get number 10 and I convinced myself that Justin Fields is my quarterback, I can rebuild my roster. If they decide, what do you guys think? If you get into a bidding war between, I don't know, Denver, Seattle, the Raiders, Minnesota, for that number 1 overall, you can hold it ransom, can't you?
Feels like it's 3 number 1s.
Holy smokes.
Because, teams were giving 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s for quarterbacks just in the last year. So if you're going for it all, you're probably asking for the max 3 first round.
So does that change the way you think?
If a franchise agrees to that, yes, it does.
So
but if there was a franchise to give up 3 first-round picks, and they're like, we got Caleb Williams, guess what? Caleb Williams is going to be no good because you have no future for that kid.
Okay. I'm Minnesota. I got Justin Jefferson. Okay. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not. I think I agree with you. But I got Justin Jefferson and I got Jordan Addison, and I don't really have a running game. But okay, I'm the Broncos. Well, Broncos better not do that. I'm Seattle. I got that young defense. I got Robinson to run. I got Lockett and Smith and Jigba, and I got DK Metcalf. And now, all right, you know what? As the Rams said once, bleep those picks.
Bleep them picks.
And I bring in Caleb Williams to Seattle, and I'm throwing to those guys, and I don't have a first-round pick for the next 2 years. But I can make a run at it. I'm a pretty decent team right now. Can you talk yourself into it if you're Seattle?
You can talk yourself into anything.
You think it would be a mistake? I think I agree with you.
That's just too much for me. It's too much.
You said 3 first-round picks. Tell me why that works. Did I just talk you into it? I mean, on the Seattle thing, it depends who you are, right? For Denver, for Denver, it's too much because Denver needs too much.
Seattle's interesting because they have been stocking up draft picks over the last couple of years. So.
Well, and they are the masters of the mid-round, right? I mean, you look. It's kind of how the Rams rebuilt this year, right? 3rd through 6th. Look at the guys that are making difference. Those 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round guys that are they're NFL players.
You really got me thinking though, Minnesota and Seattle. Take that chance now.
Well, I mean, look at the playmakers you've got, and you're close, right? You're really you're not that far off. And I've got, and I don't know what the contract situation is on Metcalf and Lockett and Smith and Jigba and Robinson.
And you trust those franchises? They're competent franchises to where you don't think Caleb Williams is going to go into one of those places and not have a chance to succeed. What you just laid out, they've used high picks on playmakers, so now you're just waiting on the quarterback. So now the gears are grinding in Seattle and Minnesota. If they were to overpay at this point in time, you could absolutely justify it because of what you've done to build that foundation.
I think so, and how close you are, right? I mean, the Vikings are a year away from being the 2 seed, and then their quarterback went down. We throw the Raiders at you. I got Josh Jacobs and I got Devontae Adams, but I agree. You're shaking your head, and I agree with you because I just don't think they're as close, right? I looked down the list of the other teams that need quarterbacks. I think that it's way too steep a price for New England, and New England's sitting at 3, and if they end up with Jaden Daniels, I think they're okay, right? I think Washington to move up 1 slot, it makes no sense. I'm looking at these in the teens, right? The 12, 13, basically 12, 14, 15. For Denver, I think it's too much too because I think they need too much more, right? But those 2 teams, Seattle, you set the price, DC. You set the price at
So last year.
Yeah. What was the price for Bryce Young?
So last year, to get from 9 to 1.
This was what Carolina did to go get Bryce Young.
So Carolina traded with Chicago.
Yeah.
They went from number 9 to number 1. They sent DJ Moore, a 2nd-round pick, along with number 9 that year, this year's first rounder, and a 2nd rounder in 2025.
So it wasn't a first rounder last year.
So number 9 overall last year.
So it was 2
2 first-round picks.
2 first, a 2nd,
2 seconds,
and DJ Moore
for Bryce Young, and to move up from 9
to 1.
Dude, you're then he's not wrong. In fact, it almost seems like 3 first rounders might not be enough. 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver.
That feels like 3 firsts and 2 seconds.
For Bryce Young. I'm sorry. I mean, for Bryce Young, like literally, and by the way, you were at 9.
when you lay it out like that,
So
it
now-
does feel like 3 is not going to be enough.
Well, but it changes my whole thought process on the question that you asked me yesterday. On do they move on from Justin Fields? And Jim, who's a Bears fan, immediately said, no, they're staying with Justin Fields. Well, if I can convince myself Justin Fields pretty damn good, he's getting better, and I can get that kind of haul.
If there's any franchise to offer you 3, you have to take it. Because even
You got a bidding war. Give me 3 and a second. I want this year's first and second, and I want that left tackle. I mean,
even with Seattle, Minnesota, man, I think that destroys them.
Destroys who?
Those franchises. If you end up saying, hey, we're going to trade at least 3 first-round picks to acquire Caleb Williams, I get he's the number 1 quarterback in this draft class. I don't trust number 1 overall picks.
I don't
like to just come in and do everything.
I don't blame you for that.
Trevor Lawrence was that dude.
All right, I want to continue this conversation. I know we're late, but
And
I
clinging
love
on for dear life.
Here's one of my favorite things on this show. When you get that look on your face, you're like, oh, you got me thinking. I didn't think that way. It's like kind of one of my favorite things that we do. And I see you back there doing the same thing, right? I want to walk through this scenario. What is that first round pick? All right, now you're the Bears general manager. Are you thinking about it? You got a good quarterback. You know what he is. There's a guy at the top of the draft that everybody's telling me is somewhat generational. But that pick is worth a ton. What do you do? We're going to talk about that next on the opening drive. Hey, winter has now hit you. It's hit you in the face. This one coming up this weekend is going to hit you in the gut. How's your car feeling? It's got mud and dirt and snow and salt all over it. When the storms are gone, call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. In fact, call them now, set up your appointment, and get your car detailed, cleaned. Get it ready for winter. You don't have the time? You don't need the time. They come to you and do it at your convenience, when it works for you, where it works for you. I don't know where their office is. They sure know where my office is, though. They come out and detail my vehicle, inside, outside, around the rims, under the hood, under the seats. They find stuff I didn't even know I had. I don't even think it was mine to begin with, to be honest with you. But you got stuff everywhere. Remember the day you took it off the lot? That's what On the Spot Automotive Detailing does for your vehicle. They have also been awarded Best of the City for 2023. Why? Because they're reliable, they're efficient, and they're the best at what they do. Go online, take a look and see what they do. You can book there, you can buy there, and it's a great gift. Valentine's Day's coming. I know we just got a holiday season. Valentine's Day's coming up. This is a great one for that as well. OTSdetailing.com. That's OTSdetailing.com.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319. Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does. The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, brah. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
The sports animal. All right, so what's it worth? I think this is why the Bears aren't coming out and saying anything definitive about what they're going to do with the quarterback position, with Justin Fields, with the first pick, because at some point everybody's got a price, right? Last year, the Bears had the first pick. They sold it, fair word, traded it to Carolina for 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. That was the cost to get Bryce Young. This year, number 9 selection, that's where Carolina came up from, is Atlanta. Would Atlanta do that? Is the price higher? DC said 3 firsts. I think 3 firsts is the starting point. I don't even think that's enough anymore. And if you're sitting at Hallis Hall, isn't that what they call that place? For the Bears? Or the Bears? What's it worth? Can I convince myself, you know what, Justin Fields is pretty good. And with 3 firsts and 3 seconds and a player or whatever, because now I got a bidding war. I can get Atlanta, Seattle, Minnesota. Hell, who else would want to drag into this bidding war and start jacking this thing up? I can get a haul for this. What's it worth?
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm taking all those phone calls. I'm having those conversations. You have to with the Chicago Bears.
Because worst case scenario is you're with Justin Fields and all these guys, right?
Yeah. And this is one where you are going to have multiple teams that are going to be interested in Caleb Williams. If it's 3, I'm listening. If it's similar to last year, where you're just kind of getting the same offers, 2 first-round picks.
I'm listening at that
maybe
point.
A player I'm listening, but I'd be more inclined to trade Justin Fields and go with Caleb Williams.
And that's the other piece. What am I getting for Justin Fields? Right? All right, here's the package. If I trade the first, if I trade Justin Fields, what do I get? I get a first and a player? Because go back to you now. You're Minnesota, you're Denver, you're Seattle. Okay, well, do I want Justin Fields then? What's Justin Fields worth to me? It's not worth the 3 firsts, but am I willing to give up a first and a 5th? Is that enough? Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning. Before I talk about the NFL real quick on the Joker, he is the best player in the NBA by a country mile high. He should be vying for his 4th straight MVP because he had voter bias last year and they gave it to Embiid. But last night I sent the text before he hit that 39-footer to win the game, down 18 with 6 minutes to go against the Warriors. He had missed only 4 field goals in 4 games. He's just incredible. Yeah. And I just think the voter fatigue killed him last year. The NFL, with the 1 bye week, I think they need to move quickly to let 8 teams in, give the top 2 teams byes, balance the schedule. Major League Baseball, hockey, they let half the league into the playoffs, and more playoffs is better. So let 8 teams in, give 2 byes, and go from there. The playoffs essentially start this weekend. and there's a couple of win and in games. So the Texans and the Colts is a win in your in game. Jaguars are a win in your in. The Packers hosting the Bears, they're winning your in.
Bills.
And the Bills, of course, who are favored at Miami. I think what's going to happen, guys, is with the Rams and their magnificent offense, and you've illustrated it this week. I think that the Niners are going to rest I think they're going to. Everybody's going to rest players, but I think the Niners are going to find a way to beat the Rams, because the Rams are going to rest players, and the Rams are going to get that 7 seed, and we're going to see that offense go into Texas Stadium or Jerry World, and it's going to be an absolute dogfight, and that's what I'm rooting for. And then I think the Packers will settle in at the 6 seed. So it matters, right? By the way, that Washington game, funny things happen in the NFL. 13-point spread, all the games will be close because the season's ending, and the people are trying to fight for their jobs and everything else. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. I appreciate you letting me share my thoughts on the NFL playoffs, and hope you guys enjoy it and have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks. So the Rams, I will always pick the Niners to beat the Rams. You know why? Because the Niners always beat the Rams, except for that one NFC Championship game where the Rams beat them to go to the Super Bowl. It's whatever it is, man. The last however many years, the Niners beat the Rams. You and I, we all sat around yesterday and talked about the Rams Lions in the first round of the playoffs and how cool that would be and what we'd like to see. There's a lot of people who really want to see the Rams play the Cowboys. If the Rams lose, the Packers win, then the Rams play the Cowboys in the first round. And I don't know. I mean, how does Cowboy fan feel about that? Right? I mean, is that something that scares you?
That's not the team you want to see. I think so many people want to see it because they want to see the Cowboys lose.
Yeah.
And I think the Rams give them the best chance to see that in the first playoff game.
Right. Talk some hoops coming up at 9 o'clock. Kenny Thomas will be here. It'll be Kicking It with Kenny. Tell me you want to do Red Zone. 8:30? Does that work for you? We're going to the NFL Red Zone at 8:30 this morning. When we come back, there's a lot of news in college football. And some Mountain West stuff that could be really, 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 really interesting to you. We'll get back into that Joker bucket last night. If you didn't see it, find it. It's not relatively. It's amazing what Nikola Jokic did last night. It's the opening drive. Glad you're with us on a cold, wintry Friday. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football. And don't forget the Super Bowl.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, brah. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver.
The best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
The morning after a legendary, or what should be legendary, shot by Nikola Jokic to bring the Nuggies. I can't think of Nuggets now without Andy Reid saying, "Tell me again," using those Nuggies. It's just the way it is for me now. The Nuggets come back and beat the Warriors 130-127. Jokic hits a 40-foot bank shot at the buzzer after 3 dribbles. It was pretty incredible. Aggies were winners at home last night. Conference USA opener. They beat the Miners 63-53. New Mexico State over UTEP last night. Lobos go at it tomorrow. Home opener in Mountain West Conference play against Wyoming. And Kenny Thomas will be with us coming up at 9 o'clock, about an hour from now. And we'll kick it with Kenny and go over some of the big hoop stuff. And there was a lot of hoops. Did you guys catch any Arizona, Colorado last night by any chance?
Well, I didn't have to watch much of it.
All right, 97-50 was the score. Like, Arizona beat the living snot out of Colorado, but it was a Bill Walton game. So I'll watch any Bill Walton game. Well, they not only had Bill Walton, and DC, I think you're the one who said, Dave Pasch is so good with Bill Walton, right? They had Frank Caliendo sitting in. Frank Caliendo doing his Bill Walton, sitting next to doing Bill Walton. So Bill Walton and the fake Bill Walton with Dave Pasch trying to get in a word, and the two of them teaming up. And Caliendo was so funny and so good with Walton. Beautiful McHale Arena, one of the most legendary arenas. And what's your name? What do you do? What's your name? The ball. He was so good. Caliendo was so good. I will watch any Bill Walton game anyway. But man, Caliendo was great. It was. I'm watching a 30-point game because I'm listening to Caliendo, and Bill Walton just make me laugh. And watching Walton laugh, they had the little box in the corner of the game so you could see Walton react to Caliendo doing him. And you're calling him, I love my bike. It's just so good. Just so good. All right, we got NFL tomorrow. We got NFL Sunday. It's the final week of the regular season. So we got into the whole, what do the Bears do with the first round? And if you want to get into that, if you're a fan of Seattle, if you're a fan of the Broncos, the Raiders, the Vikings, the Falcons, what's it worth for you to trade up and get number 1 in Caleb Williams? Reminder, last year Carolina traded up from number 9 with the Bears to get number 1 to get Bryce Young. They gave 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. What's the cost to get Caleb Williams? We can get into that. I asked you about a couple coaches. I started on the coaching thing, Seattle. And this is what spun us into this. Does Seattle need a quarterback? Mike Tomlin. Is it his choice? Is he still the coach of the Steelers next year?
Yes, he will be the coach of the Steelers next
year. Yeah, I just don't see how they could get rid of him after another winning season.
No, they can.
And he made the change. Matt
the
Canada,
offensive coordinator.
Boom.
Okay. I agree with you. I think he's going to be the coach there. I think it's his choice. I think him and Pete Carroll have earned his choice thing. So, but that only goes so far, because the next guy you say, well, if anybody's earned his choice, it's Bill Belichick. I think most people believe, I don't know where you guys are, Bill Belichick is not coaching his final game, but I do believe he's coaching his final game at New England. You guys believe he's coming back next year, or is Bill Belichick, this is it in New England?
My personal opinion is this should not be it, but there's been way too many reports saying that it is it. And I don't know. This is one where usually you can get a feel and go, all right, we kind of read through it. I really have no idea what direction New England is going to go.
Yeah, I'm in a very similar spot, because you read so many conflicting reports. You hear that it's over already and has been for a while, but there's no indication that that is actually going on. So I don't know. It's such a tough read. JJ's right. I'd flip a coin.
So what if Bill Belichick is just like, yeah, I don't need this crap anymore. I want to go somewhere where I can win. Because I think if Bill Belichick leaves New England, and let's just say he says, I'm out. It's on his decision, which would be mutual. Because I think Bob Kraft is probably trying to figure a way to get out of this. And how do you get out of it, dude? I've rode this for 2 decades to unprecedented success. I mean, there's nothing like this that's ever been in the National Football League, right? And this is the guy that's been the coach, but man, we stink. We got the number 3 overall pick. My quarterback is Bailey Zappi, right? We're horrible. I got to make a move, but how can I? So I think they get mutual. I think he's gone. I think he's going to say, yeah, I'm on to Los Angeles. Now, I don't know how he works in L.A. with the L.A. media and that, but I could see the Chargers going that way. I could see Washington going that way. I think he's gone. It leads me to the next one, Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel is the next coach there. I think Vrabel voluntarily leaves Tennessee if that job opens. You guys think Mike Vrabel's coaching his last game with Tennessee?
Well, he can't voluntarily leave. They would have to acquire him somehow.
That's right. He's under contract. That's right. So he can't just resign to go take that job. Yeah. It'd be like the Sean Payton. There'd have to be some compensation. Does that feel like something that may happen to you? I know there's Gerard Mayo. There's a lot of noise about that. But he's never coached, never been a head coach. Vrabel is proven to be a good head coach in the NFL. You guys don't look as convinced as I am.
It's the one I'm with you. I jumped to first.
Okay,
is Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I mean that's the one you read about the most. So,
well, it just makes so much sense to me.
It does. It does. He knows culture there. He knows how the Patriots way works.
Now, who's a better team? What's a better franchise?
What's a better franchise is the Patriots, but
Tennessee's not a bad franchise.
No, but I mean, if you're asking the better, I'd go for the Patriots.
What's a better situation right now? I got to believe Derrick Henry's gone. Will Levis is your guy, whether you like that or not right now. I think Will Levis is your guy for the next year. You're going to get a quarterback in the draft in New England. I mean, you're sitting at 3 right now. So you're getting, if you want, Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels, or Penix, or Nix, or whoever you decide. I mean, number 3, you're not getting Caleb Williams, but you're getting somebody else.
You're also getting a new stadium soon.
In New England?
In Nashville.
Yeah, in Nashville. I didn't know that.
I think it's supposed to be ready in 2 years.
Where are they building it?
It's very close to the original site.
Right there off the river?
Yep.
Okay. It's kind of cool down there. You ever been down there?
Oh, yeah.
You go to the end of Broadway, and then you cross the river, and it's really kind of cool.
Yeah. It's a great town.
It's a great town.
Yeah. I can totally understand why you'd want to be there. You know,
I don't know what I think is a better situation.
It's tough because we don't know what the GM situation will be
in New England.
In New England, yeah, because Belichick goes and they're going to have a new GM. So if you have some influence on your GM, that could be really appealing.
All right. There is going to be a surprise coach change. There always is. Where do you see it coming? Now, I say, how do you see a surprise, right? So, Jeff, if it's a surprise, you don't see it coming. Buffalo wouldn't surprise you, especially if they don't make the playoffs.
It's Philly for me. If
okay, I think that's fair. Yeah,
I think they have that quick reaction.
All right. If the Cowboys go out next week, they go out in the first round to the Packers or the Rams or whoever they play, they make a move? It's not out of the question that the Rams get beat by San Francisco this week and go in and beat the Cowboys. I wouldn't pick that, but it's not out of the question. They make a move?
No.
They don't. Okay.
Jerry still trusts Mike McCarthy.
After the year Dak had, I mean, you can't blame it on Dak unless he soils himself in the playoffs again. Which, right?
Could happen.
Right. So you don't see that one. Okay.
The surprise to me, I'm with you, is Buffalo if they miss the playoffs.
Okay.
I think there's the Philadelphia stuff is Well, I'm not jumping on Nick Sirianni as much, is they've lost both coordinators to head coaching positions this year. That's going to impact you a little bit more than you realize. And they've had 2 different defensive coordinators. And so does that fall back on the head coach? It does. But I think with what Nick Sirianni has established, what he has done, I would still trust him moving forward. All right, let's figure this out. You lost 2 guys in 1 year, didn't quite work on the defensive side. Figure out the coordinator.
All right. The other one's Vegas, and they love the big names, man, but they got Antonio Pierce, and you got your Pro Bowlers lobbying for Antonio Pierce to stay at the job. Devontae Adams said Pierce has his vote. Max Crosby said he's 100% supportive. Quote from Crosby, there's only 32 head coaches in the whole world in the NFL. So you got to find a leader of men, and when you've got one of them in the building currently, I don't know why you would let him go. That was his quote. I think they're going to stay there. You mentioned it yesterday. They were in this position 2 years ago. Rich Bisaccia was the guy. The locker room loved him. They got better as the season went on. When they made the coaching change, they got rid of Rich Bisaccia, hired Josh McDaniels. Worked out so well for them that they're paying him $10 million to go away. They're paying Gruden $10 million to be away. And they didn't hire Bisaccia. They brought in a guy that nobody liked. They didn't win. I think you learn from your mistakes, and it feels like this room, this team respects this dude, and I think they've got their guy.
Yes, the more and more that comes out from the Raiders, Devontae Adams, Max Crosby are voices I think that Mark Davis will listen to.
Should.
Antonio Pierce, you could see him being a Mike Tomlin-esque type of guy for that franchise.
Yeah, I think that's right. All right, 505-246-0610. We'll do Red Zone coming up at 8:30 this morning. DC's got some really, really good stuff. When we come back, the portal's moving in college football world. There's a lot of quarterbacks in there. There's a lot of movement. JJ, he said to me yesterday, man, we're looking through it. He says, when do the Lobos make some noise? When do they sign someone? Well, there's some noise in the Mountain West. Get into that when we come back. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, DC on a wintry but clear and beautiful Friday morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football and Super Bowl 58.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together
Pull together.
to make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Bring it back.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
The Raiders have their guy for head coach. But Mark Davis is not a smart owner, and he's proven that over and over again. Does anyone really think he might not screw this up? Literally everyone in the world that's a fan of the NFL is watching to see if Mark Davis screws this up. Antonio Pierce is his guy, right? And he screwed it up the last time. When you say there's no guarantees,
Dude,
Rich Bisaccia.
There was not this much buzz for Rich Bisaccia, and don't kid yourself.
There was a buzz, but maybe not like
Not
this.
like this.
But I think because of the way it went down last time, has accelerated the buzz. Don't you think it's
Now, it's easy to say after the fact that we saw Josh McDaniel not work out. And was the Gruden thing his fault? No.
No, who saw that coming? I mean, nobody saw that coming. Right?
One thing I'll say about Mark Davis is that he's recently won a championship with his with the LA team, or with the Las Vegas team, the basketball team. So when
Does he own the WNBA team?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So getting that feeling for winning, I think, will hopefully impact him positively when making this next decision.
Be interesting to see how much influence the players in the locker room have. I mean, Max Crosby and Devontae Adams should carry some weight, right?
Yeah. I don't look at Mark Davis as an owner that's a joke. He has a weird haircut. Got it.
He's got a weird
But
haircut.
he's been aggressive. He acquired Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
He went with John Gruden as an established coach to try to change your franchise. Like I don't look at it as a bunch of like clown moves.
I'll
for
tell
the
you
Raiders.
why there's a feel like that. I mean, there is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Told you I was at that what's that place, the bagel place, breakfast place in Vegas when I was there for the conference tournament last year, and I was having lunch with a buddy, and Mark Davis just walked in by himself. 2:00 in the afternoon, sat in the booth, old school, picked up the newspaper, and sat there. I mean, there's almost a part of me that has tons of respect for a dude of that stature that'll walk into a breakfast place in town at 2 PM and lunch place, whatever. It was breakfast for me at that point. But a lunch place and open up a newspaper, just sit in a booth like anybody else. And wow, that's Mark Davis, right? So I know, like, Jeff, why would you respect that? Well, I don't know. Do you see Bob Kraft doing that? Do you see Jerry Jones doing that? I mean, there's a part of me that just like really has respect for that.
Bob Kraft will walk into a retail establishment in midday.
Yeah, I'd say because his back hurts a little bit, right?
Got that little.
I get it. Yeah. But
these NFL owners.
But let me tell you this. Part of it is it's hard for people to respect. Give me a second generation owner, because his dad was Al Davis and his dad gave him the team. And people say, what did he ever do? What has he done? And I don't know Mark Davis. I don't know if he's really bright, really not bright, somewhere in between. I don't know. I honestly don't. Right? Al Davis had that respect. He built that franchise. He built that brand. He built it. And then he gave it to, right, his son took over afterwards. It's like the Rooneys are the one family that I think still holds on to that respect, right? But when you hand something down. Well, what did the kid ever do? Oh, the kid was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he didn't really have to work to get it. And I think it's harder for that second generation in a family to earn the respect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's understandable. For me, too, it's if you're a Raiders fan and you have an attachment to that team in Oakland, I can understand the frustration in those fans that are upset, but that's a great business move for him. Like what he's done for that franchise to get that stadium to have, that's a place everyone goes now.
Yeah, it's a destination. Oakland was never a destination. It never will be a destination, right? All right, a couple transfer portal stuff, college football. Kansas State's, well, now former Kansas State quarterback Will Howard was kind of the plum of the quarterbacks available on the market right now, right? That went into the transfer market. He led Kansas State to the Big 12 title last year. He is transferred to Ohio State. He was 12-5 at Kansas State's quarterback in 2 years. They won the Big 12 title game over TCU last year. Ohio State staff evaluated all the portal quarterbacks they concluded, and they were convicted of this, that he was the best. He'll be a fifth-year senior, 1 year of eligibility remaining, and he will go in as the favorite to start at Ohio State. So that's some news. The other guy that's in the portal that's getting, well, there's a lot of guys. I shouldn't say the other guy. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the portal. USC's now former quarterback Malachi Nelson. JJ, this is a guy that was highly recruited, went to SC, visited Boise State the other day, or maybe it was yesterday. And there's a lot of noise that he may end up at Boise State. That would be a super high profile quarterback in the slate.
No question. That would be a big time get for Boise State.
We've watched, now they had another USC quarterback go up there that didn't do much, right? Jack Sears, remember that? He didn't do much. But this one is one of those where you're going, holy smokes. Like there's a lot of noise here. You and I went through the portal yesterday and looked at it. When do you expect to see New Mexico make some noise in the portal? Because most of the guys who left found a home, right?
Yes.
All the linemen did. I mean, whether it was Purdue or wherever guys are going. Do you expect to see something here soon? What kind
of as much talk as there is about being there for the spring semester, the answer should be yes.
Spring semester starts next week, if I'm not mistaken, at the University of New Mexico, right? Yeah, we're watching it. The text line says, because his back hurts. Bob Kraft. Go, yeah. Isn't that why you go get a massage? Because your back hurts?
Yeah, I mean, shoulders, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it could be your shoulders. Yeah.
Probably shoulders.
Oh, yeah, that makes, because he's carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders.
There you go.
Yeah, I know that makes sense. I mean, that's where your tension goes when your team's not doing very well. You go to the Super Bowl, you got to make a stop down in Florida to get a massage. No, that makes total sense.
At the local strip mall?
Well, I mean, that's where the best massages are, is what he says, right?
That's.
I mean, look, if you find a good, would you rather, you got two ways to do this. I mean, Deshaun Watson just goes through and keeps sampling them until he finds the right one. Or Bob Kraft obviously has a favorite for whom he is willing to divert his jet on the way to the Super Bowl to a totally different region to get a massage from someone that he knows is obviously very good.
I mean, 6-time Super Bowl champion probably knows the best masseuse in the world, right?
It would feel that way.
And apparently it's in South Florida.
I mean, he found the best coach in the world, according to most people. He found the best quarterback ever, right?
I'll take his word for it.
I mean, if he told you the best massage therapist is at the strip mall in whatever town in Florida, would you say divert the jet?
I mean, what other way are you going to go? Are you going against Bob Kraft? I don't think so.
I mean, it's hard to, right?
Yeah, you divert the jet.
Divert the jet. Yes. So yes to 3537. Yes, because his back hurts. So it might have been his shoulders. Yes. Look at you conveniently staying out of this. Very good move.
I'm just listening to the conversation.
It's a very good move.
Guys are going back and forth.
It's
great content.
Very good move on your part to stay out of it. All right. Any other portal stuff? The center from Alabama, the guy with all the bad snaps. We have conversations all the time. Well, guys are leaving. JJ, you and I talk about this a lot. Sometimes guys are encouraged to put their name in the portal. To, you know what, maybe it's time for you to go. What was there? It was the count 8 or 9 bad snaps for Alabama in the Rose Bowl the other day. The center has been, by all accounts, encouraged to get into the portal, and he is no longer going to be at Alabama. He is in the portal as well. And I think Ohio State's looking at him as well. I mean, look, he's got to be really good. And maybe he becomes a guard. I don't know. But if he became the starting center at Alabama, there's got to be a lot of skill there, right?
Yeah, it's a dude I'm still taking a chance on.
I mean, do you make him a guard? I don't know. I know my blind spots. I do not know the mechanics of being a center in football. I don't. Snapping the ball, then pulling, then pass protection, then calling out. I don't. But obviously, there's something about him that's obviously very, very good, right? So, I mean, let's watch it. All right, when we come back, we're going to go in the red zone. Final week, regular season, National Football League. We'll go in the red zone. Kenny Thomas will be with us coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll kick it with Kenny going into the weekend. Big Lobo game tomorrow, what his thoughts were coming off of last Tuesday's game up in Fort Collins. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Your home for Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, and the Super Bowl.
Brought to you by New Balance. New Balance and more at New Mexico.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burkia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
On a week of the regular season, like, what do we do? We say this every year, right? What do I do with my Sundays? I don't know. Spend time with your wife, your girlfriend, your chores, your kids, I don't know. I mean, do something to get off the couch. I'm like, wait, but I kind of like being on the couch on Sunday. Is that wrong? My chair's pretty cozy, and
you got a nice chair, nice television, and
70 inches worth of TV.
It's a fine way to spend a Sunday.
It feels like it was a good use of my fall. Well,
18 weeks of it, money well spent.
And now here we go. You're like, wow, I got to clean the garage.
Oh my goodness, I'm going through all the projects right now.
I got to,
Well, we don't have to worry about that until mid-February.
Fair enough. All right, let's go into the Red Zone. Final week of the season. It's Friday. Let's go Red Zone.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the Red Zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about running backs in the preseason. Now we're in the final week, and change is inevitable. So I'm going to go and name 3 running backs, and I want you to tell me if this weekend is that player's last game with their current team. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs.
Yes, and no. Yes on Barkley, yes on Henry, trepidatious no on Jacobs.
No on Saquon Barkley. He'll be playing for the New York Giants next season.
Okay.
Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs will not be playing for their respective teams next year.
Okay. Interesting.
I think Derrick Henry.
Why do you think Saquon's coming back?
I think that even with the contract negotiations that have gone on, there is still a positivity between that franchise and Saquon Barkley. Like, Saquon came out again this week and said, yeah, I want to stay a Giant. Happy to be here. If things change, then I'll deal with it then. But I think they'll find a way to keep him around another couple of seasons, maybe do a 2-3 year deal for Saquon Barkley. Derrick Henry, it just feels like that's a little bit just time. 30 years old. Maybe go make a last push somewhere for a few seasons. And Josh Jacobs, I think that it's one where there's just so much change coming up for the Raiders. And I don't think they're going to want to pony up again for a running back.
Okay.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right, I'm going to set this one up a little. The NFLPA, starting last year, created a report card system where they had all the players basically give grades for their coordinators and coaches for their day-to-day interactions. Okay. So 1,700 players responded this year. It was a pretty even split. It was 864 offensive, 774 defensive players that responded. They basically graded them 1 to 10. It was a way basically to get the good coaches promoted, because the players are trained not to say bad things about their coaches publicly. So they want to get the good coaches promoted. So that's, and if you want to read more, Dan Graziano, ESPN, it's on there right now. It's a very good article. So we know there will be quite a few available head coaching positions available as soon as next Monday. These are the 5 offensive coordinators, according to this recent survey, of the 5 best coordinators available right now. So which of these 5 should get a shot at head coach, and what team would be the best fit? So we have Frank Smith with Miami Dolphins, Thomas Brown with Carolina Panthers, Brian Schottenheimer with Dallas Cowboys, Brian Callahan with the Cincinnati Bengals, and Kellen Moore with the Chargers.
I don't think anyone hires Thomas Brown to be a head coach right now. And it's not one of the things against him. It's just like, oh, yeah, we just hired a Thomas Brown to be our head coach, and he just went through that season with the Carolina Panthers. That's going to be a tough sell, though. The names that jump out immediately to me are Frank Smith, Miami Dolphins. People want a piece of that. Mike McDaniel offense, and then Brian Callahan for the Cincinnati Bengals, because Zach Taylor is on to something. Zach Taylor has put together a really good football team. What they did offensively without Joe Burrow to have a pulse, to stay competitive, is going to have him on the list. And Kellen Moore, little shine off Kellen Moore, but he'll still be a part of the interview process.
So I think the name that pops the most of offensive coordinators isn't even on your list, and it's Ben Johnson of the Lions, right? I mean, that's the name I hear the most. Now, however the rating system is, I don't know how much they take this into account, whoever they are, whoever's hiring. I mean, if you look around the league and say, okay, here's all these jobs that's going to be open, and we're looking at maybe Tennessee and Washington and the Chargers and Carolina and all these places. If Thomas Brown gets a look, then maybe it would be in Carolina. You promote him, right? You promote him if you love him so much. So Ben Johnson's the name to me. And after that, I think you're right on Frank Smith, just because it's the flavor of the month. And remember when everybody wanted a piece of this Sean McVay tree? However, if the Dolphins get beat this weekend and go out in the first round of the playoffs, does some shine come off of that tree a little bit too?
Just a bit.
3rd and goal.
All right, now let's do the same thing with defensive coordinators. Top 5 guys, according to the NFLPA, are Aaron Glenn with the Detroit Lions, Steve Wilks with 49ers, Dan Quinn with the Cowboys, Brian Flores with the Vikings, and Raheem Morris with the Rams.
All these guys have been head coaches, right? Every one of them. Every one of them have been. Aaron Glenn was with the Chargers. Steve Wilks was with the Cardinals for a minute. Dan Quinn with the Falcons. Brian Flores with the Vikings. And Raheem Morris with Buccaneers. Is that where he was? Where was Raheem Morris the head coach? He was a head coach. I know he was. Dan Quinn's number 1 to me. Dan Quinn is number 1. And when the Cowboys went out and made it a priority last year to pay him and keep him, if someone wants to go defense and go head coach, Dan Quinn seems number 1 to me. There's a couple places that I think it works, right? If Atlanta decides to make a move, I think it's interesting there. The Chargers, I don't think will go defensive again. They did last time. It just didn't work for them. Buffalo's interesting to me. But it feels like their issue is, well, we didn't get enough out of our offense. But there's a couple of spots, but I think Dan Quinn's the guy.
Dan Quinn was the Falcons head coach for 5 years.
Yeah. And I think they miss it. Well, I think they miss it. No, honestly, I think they miss it. I mean,
Aaron Glenn has never been a head coach, so that he would be a first-time head coach.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Anthony Lynn was.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes.
Dude in LA with the Chargers.
Yes, you're right.
I'm gonna pull a Symbieta and go a name not on this list. Jim Schwartz.
It's a good one. Who's been a head coach with the Lions?
He's one of those guys. I think at a second time around, rebuilt his reputation. It's like when coaches go to Alabama, like, oh, maybe these guys are all right.
He works for Nick Saban.
Nick Saban has been pretty good.
I'll hire Mike Locksley. I'll hire Lane Kiffin. I'll hire Steve Sarkisian. Yeah.
But so Jim Schwartz, leading the best defense right now in the NFL in Cleveland, I think he would be one that would be. He would slide in behind Dan Quinn on that list, and Aaron Glenn's going to be interesting because given an opportunity as a first-time head coach, and the other guys we've been there, done that. And so it's harder for some of these guys.
One's really interesting to me because he had success, and the reason that he left, and is anybody going to touch that? And he's got a suit against the NFL. Brian Flores is going to get another shot at some point.
In those ones, you'll see it. It's going to be about 50-50. You'll see teams go straight. We're going to go hire that first time head coach, hot coordinator, and other teams settle in for that second, third chance guy.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
All right, most of what I'm hearing is that the Bills and Dolphins matchup is the game of the week. However, all but 3 of the games this weekend have playoff implications. So what game would you say is the second most interesting matchup of the week? And give us some of the keys to that game.
Colts Texans is big, right? Because that's winner in, right? The winner gets in. So I look down this list. That's the one to me. I mean, you got 2 teams who are playing for everything. So that's why Bills Dolphins is so intriguing. It's the Saturday night game, Colts Texans. So you got to make a decision. Are you going to Lobo game, or are you going to sit home and watch the Colts and Texans play, right? Or are you going to watch the Lobo game and have your phone in your lap? That's the one. And those are 2 teams that I actually have kind of fallen in like with. I love the Gardner Minshew story, how he came in and replaced Anthony Richardson and has got this team on the precipice. And it's hard not to love C.J. Stroud and what DeMeco Ryans has done as a first-year head coach, turning around a franchise that was horrible. And here they are literally knocking on the door to get into the playoffs.
And you have the Falcons versus Saints on there with a Tampa Bay loss, and that's going to be tough because I think the Buccaneers do beat the Carolina Panthers. But what to look for in that game is that Derek Carr can finish the season strong, because then there would be 5 straight games where Derek Carr is playing good football. You're living up to expectations, and so I believe the Saints would feel a lot better going to next season with the cap hit that's upcoming, keeping Derek Carr as their starting quarterback. And we just mentioned the Falcons multiple times. If they lose that game, Arthur Smith probably on his way out. And we're looking at those coordinators. And then as much as we've talked about Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, absolutely I'm looking at the game against Green Bay, because Jordan Love, another quarterback that quietly has played better football. We were hyper-focused on him early in the season because it was that change. Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. He had some bumps on the road, but people are seeing the foundation that is there. I think the future is very exciting for the Packers offense. And this isn't a game that necessarily is going to change if you're trading Justin Fields or not. But it's always that last moment for the narrative, the talking points. If Justin Fields has a really good game, we, the NFL public, the fan bases, are going to be talking up Justin Fields a whole lot heading up to the draft, which is going to help the Chicago Bears.
Jordan Love, the quarterback of the future? And how long is that future? He's there next year, right?
Definitely.
Yes. Are they in the market for a quarterback in the...
No.
What round?
I mean, you got to start looking maybe at 5th or 6th if you just want to stack up the room.
Yeah, so then it doesn't matter. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is. Do you? Like, if Jordan Love went down right now, do you know who their backup quarterback would be?
No.
It would be, I'll tell you here in a second. Because have they even gone that way? It's Sean Clifford. You know who Sean Clifford is? Mm-hmm. Sean Clifford.
Penn State?
Penn State. 5th round pick in last year's draft. Sean Clifford.
JJ, you amaze me with that, man.
Yeah, no, he knows that. I mean, it's like no other.
You spit it out so quickly. I'm like,
yeah. He said it was a question, though. He wasn't as convicted as in most times, but yeah, he knows his junk.
He knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
Yeah. All right, Kenny's going to be with us. It's really good, dude. The talent.
I have the most useless information available.
Yeah, it's good stuff, though. Yeah, right. Do you know who their number 3 is? There's no one listening. I almost want to kind of play the game with him. Who's the backup quarterback for? All right, who's backing up Easton Stick right now?
Oh, my goodness.
Come on now. It's Easton Stick, and then that's for the Chargers, for those of you who don't know. Will Greer. Where did he go to school?
West Virginia.
Duh. It's insane, right? I mean, who didn't know that? All right. Now this one's that's probably easy. Who's backing up? All right. So the number 3 quarterback for Atlanta. There's Taylor Heineke, Desmond Ridder, and then who? He knows this.
QB. I don't know who QB3 is.
Logan Woodside, who played. I got him. I got him this time.
Yeah, Logan Woodside.
The number 3 quarterback for the Falcons, Logan Woodside, played at.
Is it a Division I school?
It is.
Okay. Is it Liberty?
It is not.
Nope. I don't know.
Toledo.
Okay. Got me.
7th round pick, number 249 in the 2018 draft. I don't know. Who you thinking of?
Liberty.
Finally, dude. You didn't think I was going to get him.
Logan Woodside kind of looks like Andy Dalton with darker hair.
I can see that. Yeah, that's actually really fair. All right, one more. Nah, that's not right. I don't like that one. It's kind of a fun little game. The Giants' backup quarterback is who? Tyler
Taylor, Tommy
DeVito.
DeVito.
Tommy DeVito. Yeah. That's stupid. All right, Kenny's going to be with us. He knows all these too, by the way. Kicking it with Kenny coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Do we do 3 for all? We got to do 3 for all today. Probably need to do that in the next segment. So we'll pick up bet our 3 games and give you an understanding how hard it is to bet and where we stand on 3 for all and all that mess. So that's coming up next. How to bet against us and make money. That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Like, I can't remember the last time I hosed.
Give me a
It's been about a month.
if you got your
I think you're right.
bus fare.
The pent-up hoe, man. I mean, might be out of breath. I mean, that's a long hoe coming. You know what I mean? All right, you ready to? So here's what we do for you on Fridays. Sometimes when I'm here, and sometimes when I'm not, and sometimes when you're not, and whatever. The whole point of this exercise was to show you how hard betting is. And we picked 3 games. Not hey, you got to bet this game. No, pick your 3 favorite games. And this is how hard betting is, and we've been keeping track throughout the NFL season. JJ's 15 wins, 23 losses. DC's 15, 21, and 1. I know and the numbers are all skewed because I don't know why. And I'm 20 and 14. And that's where we are. So let's do a little 3-for-all.
If every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right.
Yes, I will do the opposite.
Not 2, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
1, 2, 3.
It's been about a month since I've heard that too. It makes me really loud. All right. Last week, you weren't here. Isaiah was in. Isaiah went 2-1 last week. JJ and I went 1-2 last week. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago, whatever the hell it was. I don't even know. All right. What do you got? First game. What do you like?
Detroit minus 3.5.
Detroit.
At home. Over the Vikings.
Detroit minus 3.5 versus Minnesota. All right. My first game is, I'm taking games that, well, one of them doesn't matter. I like Tampa Bay with something to prove on the road at Carolina. I'll lay 4.5. I'll take the Buccaneers.
I like it. I'm going to take the under on Colts Texans right now. It's at 47.5.
Under 47.5. Indy and Houston. All right. My second game. This is too big, man. And look, this could go the other way. It could be not nearly big enough. But when I see thick dogs, when I see a 13-point home dog, it's hard for me not to jump on it. But you guys, this is like betting preseason football in some respects. You just don't know who's showing up, who gives a damn. Commanders have nothing. This bet makes no sense. And I'll sit here on Monday going, why the hell did I did this? Because it makes no sense. I'm going to take the Commanders in 13 points against Dallas. You got a 13? What do you have it at?
13. Yep.
Yeah. What do you got? It's your second game.
Okay, I am going to take the Packers minus 3 against the Bears.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think the Packers are a playoff team. I think they're gonna win and get in.
I like that a lot.
I will take the under. Seattle at Arizona. Then at 47.5.
This is actually pretty good too. All right, what's your last one?
Ooh, see, and you brought it up. It's so tough because you don't know who's sitting and who's playing and what they're playing for. I look at this Chiefs at Chargers, and I'm tempted to take the over at 35. So I'll go ahead and do that.
That's easy. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, the problem is if Mahomes and Kelsey and half their offense doesn't play, where do the points come from? But
garbage.
And that's why I take the over on that.
All right.
What am I going for? You know what? Last one. I'm going to take the team that's resting players.
All right.
To throw a curveball. Give me Baltimore Ravens +3 at home over the Steelers.
I looked at that. +3, so they're getting 3. All right. I'm going to take Buffalo -2.5 at Miami. I think they win the game, and I think they go in and they're going to win by 4 or 5 points.
I was looking at that one too. I definitely understand that. I have no faith in Miami right now.
I don't either. And it's a home game, and you should have faith. And they were the midseason darlings, and everybody loved Miami, and they were so wonderful. I just think Buffalo's got it all on the line, everything to play for, and I think that's where it's going to go. All right, so we'll take a look at those and check them on Monday and see how bad we are. And hopefully you bet against us and you make a bunch of money, right? What's the Lobo spread tomorrow? Have you seen anything on that? That doesn't come out till tomorrow, right? Lobos in Wyoming tomorrow. What would you guess it's going to be? I'm gonna guess Lobos will open up as 8.5-point favorites.
Oh, okay.
Where are you going?
I think like 11.5.
You think it's that high? Okay. You get nothing. You get Boise State, San Jose State tonight up in California. And then tomorrow, I don't have a line on it yet. Your Mountain West games tomorrow. UNLV at San Diego State, Nevada at Fresno State, Colorado State at Utah State. How about that? So that's nice. And then Wyoming at New Mexico. We come back to talk some hoops. We're going to kick it with Kenny Thomas, former Lobo great, 11-year NBA veteran, and just superstar. He's here. It's Kicking with Kenny. We'll get into what Jokic did last night, the Lakers situation, the Lobos, college hoops, pro hoops. Let's talk some hoops with Kenny Thomas. That will be next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM. On AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, and the Super Bowl.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com.
10, the sports animal.
Big Hoops weekend coming up, highlighted by the Lobos and Wyoming at the Pitt Mountain West Conference home opener. Tomorrow night over on News Radio KKOB, 8 o'clock. 8:30? 8 o'clock? 8:30? I'll find 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Kenny Thomas is here. You're going to need to talking to that thing. So, are you new to this whole thing?
A little bit.
What's up, man? You good?
Yeah, man. It's early, but it's not early.
Yeah,
I'm
I get
getting
that.
used to this thing. It's nice being able to come in here and hang out with you guys. And
Yeah, we appreciate it.
yeah, you
It's
kidding me, man? This is an honor.
I want to get into Lobo stuff, but man, I got to start here. I said earlier, if Nikola Jokic hits that shot last night in the playoffs,
Oh man,
it's like one of the most legendary shots ever, right? To beat the Warriors, I got a 7-footer hitting a 40-foot bank shot.
Yeah.
It feels like that was the play. Here, get it to Nikola, put the ball in the hands of our best player, and have my 7-footer hit a 40-foot bank shot to win the game. That was insane.
that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
And you could tell because he was in the corner over there by the scoreboard, and then he ran towards the ball, and obviously he had Looney on him, and Looney's a big man, so it was easier with Jokic being as skilled as he is, especially with the ball. And the next thing you know, he shoots. But have you noticed he shoots behind his head?
Yes.
And it's effective, right?
Whatever works, man.
And the last 4 games, I saw Ernie ask Jokic, because he was right on with Ernie and Shaq and
Right.
Kenny right after the game.
On TNT.
He's been 39 for like 44 the last 4
That's what he
games.
said. He's missed 4 shots in 4 games.
Yeah. Oh my man.
So you bring up something really interesting, and there's so much on Jokic, which is crazy. It's awkward, and I always, you got coaches all the time, and I don't know how much you were coached on your shot, right? You got coached on form in college, right, and post moves and fundamentals and technique. But if there's a guy that looks awkward, I think of Jim Furyk's golf swing, or right, a guy that it doesn't do it the way everybody else does it. There's some guys who have just that beautiful stroke.
Or Charles Barkley's golf swing.
Okay, right, Charles Barkley's golf swing. Yeah, with that hitch. If his didn't work though, so that's when they tried to fix it. But like Jokic's shot, look, Steph Curry's shot isn't that beautiful stroke, right?
Yeah.
That some dudes have. At what point do you just say, you know what, man, it works, leave him alone, don't fix it?
Great question, because this is kind of like what me and JJ talked about last week. And when you come into I'm coming out of high school and the kid is being recruited, you kind of see what you're working with from that perspective. And then once you get into college is still about developing kids and getting them ready, especially coming in around 17, 18 and being ready to play, right? So you got to have a coaching staff that's willing to obviously invest in the kids from standpoint of working on the farm, getting in the gym on a consistent basis. And you got to kind of go with what's working. If he's knocking down shots, you just got to leave that thing alone.
At some point, if it works, you got to leave it alone. I mean, there's been guys in baseball that have crazy batting stances and swings that don't look beautiful, but they're hitting 320 and driving in runs, and you leave it alone.
Leave it alone, even though it might look ugly, right, JJ? You got to leave that thing alone.
Guys who throw football, Phillip Rivers, the way he threw a football.
Yeah, if it's effective, you don't mess with it. But one of the things you said Tuesday night, of course, post-game show, News Radio KKOB, following Lobo men's
And don't
basketball.
forget that after Lobo basketball now,
It was big.
Kenny will be there taking calls.
Because we were talking about free throw shooting, and there were a lot of questions about that. And it wasn't, your take wasn't, you don't necessarily adjust a shot, but you got to find a rhythm, like a routine for players.
Yeah, routine is huge. Even when guys are warming up before games, you go out there and you get warmed up and you have a routine. I had a routine of like how I went out there and got ready for games. And even at the free throw line, you got to stay consistent to what feels good sometimes, because when the ball's not rolling like it's supposed to be rolling off your fingertips, you got to stay true to what you know, to where you don't get all over the place. And then it can become a mind situation over a skill thing. But guys like, you talk about guys like Steph Curry. I played against his dad, Dell Curry, in the NBA towards the end of his career, and I had just came in. Steph's shot is low.
Yes.
It's low. So that means he can shoot from the hash mark or half court or whatever it is, and it looks so effortless.
The fact that he can get that low shot off and create the way he can is what makes him such a magician.
Yeah, and this is a guy like in Steph Curry to where he trains with tennis balls.
Yeah.
And he's also dribbling the ball at the same time. So it's a totally different level of preparation that this generation is doing now.
Yeah, he's Kenny Thomas. It's Kicking It with Kenny. We're talking hoops. We're going to talk Lobo hoops coming up in the next segment, but the NBA has been so fascinating, and that's where we started.
Well, you look at last night's game, and the Nuggets, they finished on a 25-4 run. They're defending champs. They're there. But it was also the fourth time this season the Warriors have lost an 18-point lead in a game, and you just don't expect that from Steph Curry and Steve Kerr in that group.
I'm sorry about that. No, you don't, because you expect the Warriors to win because they've won championships, right? But they've lost a couple key pieces, and Jordan Poole, they had to get him out of that situation because of what happened with Draymond, right?
Well, and Draymond's not there.
Yeah, and that's the second thing I was about to say. He's not there, but he's such a crucial part of that team because he does so much. He can bring the ball up, he can knock down threes, he can actually rebound, and he does certain key things, and he needs to be in a better situation on the mental perspective, especially with the guy that just got paid again.
Kenny, what do you do? Because, I mean, he is who he is, right? I don't know how you change who he is. People say someone shows you who they are, believe them.
He's gotten worse.
He's gotten worse, right? And I don't know what suspension, what punishment's gonna get him to where he is. But to your point, he's such a pivotal piece. And if you don't believe it, it's like, and we'll talk about the Jalen House piece. People who said, well, they're better without Jalen House. No, they're not. They're better without Draymond. No, they're not. And I think this has proven that. So what do you do? Because dude's a mess, obviously, and he's costing you, but not being there is costing you as well.
I mean, it's one thing to be able to get paid again. He got like $100 million for 3 years.
God bless him.
You know what I mean? Like, you are supposed to be going out there and not thinking about yourself. And you're thinking about yourself when you're doing selfish things, like stepping on Sabonis, like turning around and obviously swinging and hitting that guy that played for, I think, Portland. Like, come on, man. It's obvious. So right now, Joe Dumars is and Andre Iguodala, who just came a part of the whole the NBPA, NBA Players Association. I think they're trying to figure out where his head is at right now. And it's one thing to not play because you're hurting your team, but man, he needs to get it right and get it correct because
they need him.
They don't have a choice, and especially with the All-Star weekend, All-Star weekend coming up in February. They're going to have to go on a serious push.
Kenny Thomas is in studio. We're doing some NBA stuff. I got to hit you on the Lakers. And it feels to me like an annual ritual. The Lakers struggle mid-season and they blame the coach. Right? It's always they got to blame the coach. And I sit there, I'm thinking, all right, is it Darvin Ham? So I want to lean on you a little bit. You mentioned Larry Brown so often. So obviously he had a great influence in whatever locker room he was in. At the NBA level, and you're just talking about at the college level, you're developing players, you're coaching players. What is the role of a coach at the NBA level?
You'll be amazed. It's still the same thing. It still carries over because you still got to help develop players to where you might, as a coach in the NBA, because those coaches on the bench have played, they might see an area of where a player needs to get stronger in. Like for myself, you talk about the NBA, but let's rewind back to college. I didn't have a left hand in college. I was always right hand, turn over left shoulder, right hand. So what did I do? I got in the pit every day. I worked on my left hand hook. And it might have been a baby.
Is that like guys like Doug Ash working with you? And who worked with you?
It really didn't matter.
Yeah.
I probably had an equipment manager. Or I probably had a coach. Like, those are just certain things that I worked on. And if you perfect it and you get up 50 shots or 100 shots a day, just with your left hand, my left hand, I felt comfortable doing it in the game. Because if I missed, I could come back to it because in my mind, I made like 15 in a row when I was practicing. And obviously getting bumped and playing, you have to still keep your balance to be able to knock down those shots too.
So I go back to the Laker thing. And again, it feels like this happens relatively regularly. It happens with LeBron teams. It happens with the Lakers. And I don't know if this is the Dallas Cowboy effect. The Lakers are the Lakers, the high profile team. But is Darvin Ham the issue or what's going on?
No, because when they're winning, Darvin Ham is pretty much doing the same thing and adjusting based off of who they play night in and night out. Now, the players are the ones to blame because they're not out there playing the defense and sharing the ball like they're supposed to. And you got to also keep in mind, man, the NBA now is stronger. The Western Conference has always been strong, But now you got the Lakers and the Warriors and the 7th to 10th seed right now.
They're 10-11 right now. The Lakers are 10, the Warriors are 11. Like, who do you trust more to get? If there was one spot, you would trust the Warriors.
Warriors. And the way that the Warriors came out last year and went to 7 games with the Kings, and I was doing those games at NBC, the Warriors just came in and killed the Kings at home. And then the Kings go down there and they win in Golden State. It was just weird, man.
Until Game 7.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then the Warriors just know how to win.
Because champions know how to win. You learn how to win.
And then you talk about the Lakers. The Lakers they got a nice squad, right? And you got AD actually playing AD ball right now, scoring 40 points, which is good right now. Yeah. But I feel like the Lakers have added a lot of great pieces. And if they stay true to who they are, but you got to think about OKC and those guys and the Pelicans.
They're the top of the division.
Exactly.
The conference is Minnesota and Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Minnesota is nice
It's insane. Kenny Thomas is in studio. We're kicking it with Kenny.
Yeah, it's. Well, I look at 9, 10, and 11 right now in the Western Conference. That's Phoenix, the Lakers, and the Warriors.
Yeah, and then you think about Phoenix. They haven't even had Bill like a third of the season, and now he's barely about to come back. But I saw something on social media, and it was another NBA player saying that he feels bad for KD because Phoenix seems like it's cursed. And I'm like, what? If you think about it, Jeff, all the way back to Charles Barkley. They should have won a championship back then.
Remember when Amari Stoudemire left the bench?
Exactly.
And that call that cost them that game in that series?
Exactly. And then they got rid of Monty. Yeah. And then who we just talked about in Detroit, but Monty goes to Detroit and he's struggling now. So is the Phoenix Suns really cursed?
Maybe.
Hey, man.
Who's more cursed, them or the Clippers?
Clippers are beasting right now.
That's right. It's January. It was December.
And at the same time, Charles Barkley made a comment last night after the game. James Harden isn't even in shape yet.
Yeah, they're really nice, but they're still the Clippers, right? Until they shed the Clippers, that's a franchise that's never been to the conference finals.
That's insane.
It's insane.
That's insane. Tyronn Lue, man, won a championship in Cleveland.
Yeah,
so
but now he's a Clipper.
And he played for the Lakers and won a championship, right?
But now he's a Clipper.
But now, obviously he knows how to gel those guys together, and they're listening.
Want to talk some Lobo Hoops when we come back?
Oh, yeah, whatever you want.
Big one tomorrow. I want to look back at last Tuesday a little bit and talk about Wyoming coming in and how you've got to get right tomorrow night. We'll do that. We're kicking it with Kenny. Kenny Thomas is in studio. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football and the Super Bowl.
Pro football is a game, not a war. It's for
Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Lobos in Wyoming tonight. If you're at the or tomorrow night, if you're at the pit, you can get some Kenny Thomas wine. Audra liked it, by the way.
Oh yeah, I got to
it.
hook her up.
Yeah,
too.
she enjoyed that. All right, let's go back and then go forward. I know you and JJ talked about it on the post game show. I thought the better team won on Tuesday night. I thought Colorado State was just better than the Lobos were. They would look more cohesive. I understand the foul trouble was big. I thought they were more cohesive. It's not even just about free throws. I just thought offensively they didn't look like they were working as hard. Everything seemed after the first 5 minutes to be difficult for UNM.
Yeah, I agree with you on all of those perspectives, but I feel like the first 10 minutes, the game was flowing. Yeah. You had House into Stevens, and it was a different flow. I feel like when House picked up those fouls, it totally shifted the vibe of the game. But I loved in the first 10 minutes how the guards were getting the bigs involved. Toppin, he was getting
on
off
the pick and roll.
Man, I've been saying it, but the pick and roll, you cannot guard it. And then you heard the announcers on TV, side pick and roll. They need to get back to the side pick and roll. And then this is where I was telling JJ after the game, who's the leader? Who's that guy that's out of the guards that's going to be like, hey, let's settle in? I'm not saying it's not happening. I wouldn't know because I'm not in the huddles. But when you see it, hey, Jeff got his hand up, you guys.
You asked the question.
When you see it, like, hey, take control, pick and roll, something to get some kind of shot. I feel like even with Mashburn right now, right? They're trying to kill the man. I disagree. He's trying to get back into the swing, and it might look like he's forcing the situation, But if
Shooter,
there's
shoot.
plays that are called to where that's putting him in a better situation, I feel like he would be a different player.
All right, I want a couple things. I think Mashburn is their best player, but is he their leader on the floor? The guy with the ball in his hand is usually the leader, right? Your point guard
And
tends
it's those
to be
three.
your leader, right? And that's right. And so I think it's somewhat interchangeable who takes over. If there's any doubt on Jalen House, I think all that doubt needs to be put aside. How valuable he is.
Totally
I'm not
agree.
telling you he's the best player that's been around here in years. I've used this word with JJ. I really want to know what you think. I think he's the most dynamic player the Lobos have had in 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Not the best, the most dynamic. And his upside outweighs whatever perceived downside there is. He has got to be on the floor. He has got to be under control. And how do you – this is really interesting. And I don't know how you coach this where you don't want to coach the emotion out of him.
Yeah.
He's an emotional player. That's what makes him so terrific. Yeah. But and one game does not a trend make.
Yeah.
But he's got to be on the floor. The best ability is availability. He can't be in foul trouble.
I mean, between the three of those guys, they have to be on the floor. At least two of them, it seems like they have to be on the floor at the same time.
And all three would be preferable.
Yes. And House, I mean, he's a great emotional guy. He's a great kid. But when you're coming off the bench and you know you got 3 fouls, there's certain things you can and can't do. I just feel like he probably needs to be a little bit more mindful of that because he is needed on the floor. And what he's doing is not wrong because between the emotion with House and then you got the emotion and the effort and the hustle from Toppin, and he's a freshman and he's playing with so much energy and so much passion right now. I feel like getting those bigs involved a little bit more and pick and rolls and hitting them, dive into the basket, that just builds up the energy from the bigs, trust me, I know, to want to do more and help the guards out.
When a big gets rewarded, they're going to work harder. We're kicking it with Kenny. Kenny Thomas is in studio with us.
Well, part of that, too, is then, well, if JT Toppin's going off, House is going to take some shots. Mashburn is going to take his shots. That left Nelly Jr. Joseph with just 5 field goal attempts.
Yeah, he was, 2 for 5, 3 for 5 or something like that. I'm not even, with him, I'm not even necessarily worried about, points like that, right? If he gets an opportunity to post up or pick and roll, great, roll to the basket because if he rolls to the basket, it's probably going to open up the weak side for the guard, right? Where I have a problem with him, in 36 minutes, you cannot have 2 rebounds. You just can't. You just can't. That's where the desire and the ability to go get them. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes, his mindset needs to be, hey, I need the rebound. That's one of the key things why I'm here. And then if he gets some offensive rebounds, those easy putbacks or whatever, those are the ones that get you going because I did it in the NBA, man. Let me tell you, I had to go into a game and think defense, offense, and rebounding.
That's why you survived 11 years in that league.
Take charges, and then if I got opportunities to score, I know I could score, right? That doesn't go away because I was the guy that had the ball in college.
Mike Danoff used to tell me all the time, what can you control when your shot's off? You're not going to be able to score every night. What do you control? How you play defense and how you rebound.
If he goes and gets 15 rebounds and has 4 points, trust me, those 15 rebounds are going to be seen by NBA scouts. And if you go out and do it on a consistent basis, you could get in the NBA by taking charges and just getting rebounds.
All right, take a game like tomorrow. Here comes Wyoming. Wyoming won. They beat San Jose State on a last-second shot up in Laramie on Tuesday night. They were trailing most of that game and then ended up winning. JJ and I have talked about this. This league is so good at the top, right? The top 5 teams went into league play with a 60-6 combined record. San Diego State looked great the other night. Colorado State beat the Lobos. Utah State and Colorado State go tomorrow. These are games you have to win. And this feels like a game. I said to JJ, I think Lobos win by 12 to 16 points with the Pit going away. But a mindset, you've been in these situations. We come off a road loss against a really good team. Here comes a team we quote unquote should beat. You cannot slip up here any of these games if you're thinking about being an at-large team.
Yeah, prime example. If I went to Utah, which I've never won in Utah, against Rick Major, I never won. I don't think I ever won down there.
Wow.
If we came back home, we were gonna make a statement in the Pit, right? To where You're coming to our town, and we felt like
cranky,
and we just got blown out by 15 maybe in Utah. Then we got to come back and play at home. Like we cannot break down for our 6 man. And then this is how you consistently get 15,000 in the building, and they'll come. I'm not gonna lie, man. When I go around town and I hear that people stop renewing their season tickets, I never thought I would hear that with Lobo basketball, especially with the biggest game in town.
It goes back to what you're talking about, just the leadership and responding to adversity. I do trust this team because they went through it last year. Those 3 guards. Yeah, Donovan Dent was a freshman, but Dent, House Mashburn, they had a great non-conference season and installed the challenges of Mountain West play. So I do trust them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Think about last year when they were ranked like 22, 23, right? Or something like that. They had just gotten in the top 25. And then they lost like 2 or 3 games in a row. And they should have that same kind of energy right now because they're not ranked. And they have a pretty good record, I mean. But obviously their schedule hasn't determined them getting in the top 25, and they still have only lost like 1 or 2 games, right? Yeah. So come out, make a statement, because is it true, Jeff, to where if you come home and you win by 20 points or 15 points, doesn't that help you with the AP polls?
Well, it more so the net rankings, right, JJ? What does margin of victory do in the formulas in the computer rankings?
Yeah, you're the net rankings, like margin of victory is factored
KenPom
in.
too, right?
KenPom, things that will go towards
all
putting your
metrics,
your resume together at the end of the year. I think the Lobos are a little ways away from being ranked.
Okay.
But
especially after the loss the other day.
But there's opportunities for them to build a resume.
But look, man, next week they got UNLV on the road and San Diego State comes in, right?
Yes.
I mean, you look at next week. Every week when we sit here on Friday, we're going to go, okay, here's what's coming up. It's not going to be easy any week. Nevada's going to be really good. They're coming in the week after that or 2 weeks after that. This is a good league. You looked around the league. Who do you think the best team in this league is? San Diego State.
In the Mountain West?
Yeah, they look great the other day. Colorado State looks really good.
San Diego State beat Gonzaga just like a week ago on the road.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Go tonight. Yeah.
But then last year, I mean, we're talking about last year, but the Lobos went to San Diego State and beat them last year.
Mm-hmm. And had a chance to sweep them. Lamont Butler hit the shot at the buzzer in the pit.
Exactly. And then you got Colorado State this year that's ranked 13, and the way that they're playing right now, the Lobos could have beat them. And I got Colorado State, San Diego. Nevada's pretty good.
Nevada's really good, man.
I mean,
there's some guards in this league, and then the bigs. And I'll tell you, I hadn't watched a lot of Colorado State.
Yeah,
they impressed me, man. That Cartier was impressive, and it feels so typical of the guys in this league. You know, you've watched guys that tall, fundamental Caucasians who come in, and you're like, where'd that guy come from? And they just beat you down. They don't make mistakes. They make shots. They frustrate you. They defend.
Yeah. Maybe there's a shift to where you talk about Cartier in the Colorado State game, and there was other guys that were getting off outside of Stevens. What about running a guy at the guy that's getting off, right? And try and get him out of some kind of rhythm. You know what I mean? To where I'm just everybody out there. I'm not talking bad about anybody. Just put that out there. Only thing I'm doing, I'm talking basketball. I played in the NBA for 11 years on a high level. I've seen it. I've done TV. It just seems like something needs to shift. And I think it's been great defense, but you gotta change it up.
Got him. He was beating him inside and outside.
Kenny,
that's embarrassing, to be honest. That sounds like something I would do. Like take you inside, and then I'm gonna take you outside, and it's like Jokic. He only missed 4.
Why is he pointing to me like that?
Because you're my guy. Jokic, he missed 4
shots in 4 games.
But he's posting up. They're not all jumpers.
Well, that one was from 40 feet, the one that won it yesterday. Kenny's on the air over on News Radio KKOB after every Lobo game, including tomorrow night, Lobo Live. You can call in. The Lobo postgame show is back. It'll be Kenny and Brandon Ortega. So you can talk to Kenny. He's back with us every Tuesday and Friday at 9 o'clock. We call it Kicking It with Kenny. Get his wine. Drink it. His wine's pretty good. What else you got?
That.
What else people need to know?
Basketball tournaments coming up. Just had one over the weekend. We had about 40, 50 teams. 4 different gyms, no APS schools.
No APS schools.
I'm going up to Roswell with Schoolie. I'm going to Hobbs this summer. My Memorial Day tournament this summer. I got a golf tournament that you're coming to this year in September, and I'm doing your golf tournament. Hopefully you have that going. I just got a lot going on. I got my wine going into Total Wine in Albertsons here pretty soon. Southern Glaciers. Greg Templeton.
He's the best, man.
He's taking care of me, man.
He's just the best ever.
It's so crazy because Greg Templeton and Greg Brown over at Admiral,
two of the best guys you'll ever know that run those two.
One last thing, my partnership with Teresa Tapia.
Yeah,
we got our first BKFC partnership
January 28th,
January 27th at Revel. You can go to BKFC and get tickets. You can go to Revel and get tickets. Donald Sanchez, local kid, is the he's not a kid, he's a grown man. Good guy. he's the headliner.
I'll see you on I'll probably see you at the Pit tomorrow night. I'll see you Tuesday. And don't forget Kenny after the game over on News Radio tomorrow. Good to see you.
And just to put it out there, I'm working on bringing in Michael Cooper tomorrow night. I text him. Hopefully he responds back.
Beautiful.
Because he'll be in the Pit tomorrow.
Yeah, with Shane over at All in Autographs. Yep. It's the opening drive. It was Kicking It with Kenny. We'll do it every Tuesday and every Friday. We'll come back on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
Say my name, say my name. While every other station calls it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet? Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Coaches coach more than I thought. Fundamentals. I always just thought you get to that level and you're more of a head doctor and a manager of time. I always wonder how much time at the NBA level head coaches spend on development fundamentals. And that's what I learned. All right, you can get in at 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. We're talking about Jokic's big shot last night, which if you've not seen, find it. It was insane, a 40-footer bank shot to beat the Warriors, and it looked like that's what it was called, right?
Yeah, well, just, if you get it to Jokic, you're getting a shot off.
From behind.
What kind of shot is it going to be? You're not sure. Having an inbound in the backcourt with just about 4 seconds left, but you're getting something in the air.
40 feet from behind his head. That's exactly what it was. All right, I haven't hit this. We're going into the final week of the NFL regular season, and the Pro Bowl was announced yesterday, Pro Bowlers, and we asked about snubs, and there's always going to be someone who's look. I don't care if we're talking about the Final Four in college football and who's number 5 and 6. I don't care if we're talking about the final 68 in college basketball. Well, yeah, but what about number 69 and 70? They got hosed, right? Whenever there's a cutoff, there's the next one or the next perceived one out. JJ, there's always a conversation, right?
Yes, there is.
Oh, they got hosed. Okay. So we talked about wide receivers. And who are the snubs? My feeling is I thought Jared Goff should have been a Pro Bowler over Matthew Stafford. I'm a Rams guy, and I like Stafford, but I thought Goff had a better year. I thought he should have been. The wide receivers in the NFC were CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, and Puka Nacua. Amon-Ra St. Brown was not picked, Detroit Lions. Career best season, 800-yard receiving games. He's tied with Lamb and Tyreek Hill for the most of those in the NFL. 112 receptions, 1,300-plus yards, almost 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. For a team that won their division. Quote, the receivers that got picked, they're great players, but I was hot. I guess I didn't do enough during the season, so I've got to go harder. End quote. He is unhappy, feels like he got hosed. Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he'll probably get in, right? I mean, what you figure well, maybe not. The Eagles or the Cowboys would have to get into the Super Bowl for him to vacate his spot. Did Amon-Ra St. Brown get hosed? And if so, who should he replace?
Mike Evans.
I think that's the right answer.
The 100 reception season's nice. And there was only 5 of those this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown caught 112 passes. Mike Evans got 76.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. And I don't think A.J. Brown was great this year either, by the way. I thought he was really good. I think he's really good.
Start to the season.
Yeah. The two no-brainers to me are CeeDee Lamb and Puka Nacua, right? Do we agree on that? You're like, Puka Nacua, no-brainer? Yes, go look at his numbers. They're not just great rookie numbers. They're great veteran NFL numbers. Like, go look at his season. I agree with you, man. I think he kind of got hosed.
It's worth mentioning that he's under contract this year for $1.1 million.
And his bonus would be what?
$88,000 if they win, $44,000 if they don't. So I mean, that's $88,000 is 12% of his.
Wait, $88,000 if he is a Pro Bowler?
If they win, yeah.
If they win what?
Well, of course now it's not.
Oh, if they win the Pro Bowl games,
right?
So so if you go to the Pro Bowl, you're guaranteed $44,000, and then if you're so half of those guys are going to get 80. But is there a bonus there for him too? There's got to be a bonus in his contract, right? I'm going to assume there's $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. So he only makes $1.2 million.
Dude was a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, out of USC, right? Out of USC. I think he got hosed, and he's hot about it, and he's got to go harder, and it'll drive him. I think he's terrific, and I love guys that are 4th-round picks, 5th-round picks, that end up being this guy, like Puka Nacua, right? That come out of nowhere. Kyron Williams. And I think it shows you that day 2 of the draft doesn't end on day 1. And it proves something that I tell you all the time. Just because you haven't heard of something or somebody doesn't mean that it's not good or they're not good, right? All these guys in the 3rd and 4th round that nobody but J.J. Buck has heard of, and Mel Kiper. Not honestly, right? I mean, dudes come in the 4th round, and J.J. Buck and Mel Kiper are the only 2 dudes who know them. Some of them turn out to be really, really.
That's how you build
really
franchises.
100%.
So you win championships.
Yeah. 100%. And that's why, it's funny. You see trades all the time, and they throw around 4th, 5th round picks. You throw them around like they're M&Ms. Whatever. Here's a 4th round pick. And then you get to that spot in the draft. You're like, damn, I really want that dude, but I can't get him. Let me trade next year's 5th round and let me trade 5th and 6th next year for the 4th this year.
Like the first round can build your foundation.
That's right. And you hope it
that's
does.
Usually the highest percentage of elite talent. It is. But to get through 18 weeks of an NFL season, to be a playoff team, the rest of your roster is made up of late round picks and undrafted free agents.
Kind of want to go through, and it would take me a minute, so I'm not going to sit here and do it on the air. But I want to go through the Pro Bowl rosters. And, what's the percentage of the guys that make a Pro Bowl who are post-second round picks, meaning free agents or, you know what I mean? I'll bet it's way more significant than we think, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, would you say, I don't know, what would you say? I mean, more than 50%, right? Wouldn't you think so? And it won't be the quarterbacks. It'll be the linemen. It'll be the defensive backs. It'll be the linebackers. And every once in a while, right? I mean, the quarterbacks are all top picks. Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford. Well, Brock Purdy's not. Dak Prescott's not. So 2 of the 6. That's a third. All right. So I think that's kind of going to prove my point. 2 of the third are not. Raheem Mostert, James Cook, Derrick Henry. 1/3 of those are top 2 second-round picks, right? Henry was, Mostert and Cook were not. AFC. McCaffrey was, DeAndre Swift I don't believe was, and I know Kyron Williams wasn't. So a third. So now we're at like half. All right, it's kind of proving my point, right? Wide receivers, Tyreek Hill was, Amari Cooper was, Keenan Allen probably was, Jamar Chase was, CeeDee Lamb was, A.J. Brown was, Mike Evans was, Puka Nacua wasn't. Well, where's Mike Evans pick?
Mike Evans the first round pick.
He was? Yeah, 7th overall.
Mike Evans has been one of the most underrated players.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Don't answer this question. DC? Mike Evans, college.
Texas A&M.
All right. It's really good. I might not have known that. I'm not even going to ask JJ Buck anymore. JJ, the center from the Lions, Frank Ragnow. Where'd he go to college? Come on.
The
first round pick, 20th overall in 2018.
Michigan?
Arkansas.
Yeah, I don't know. The center's going to be a little harder.
I know. I just needed to stump you. I just needed to feel better about myself. How does making someone else look bad? Aaron Donald, where'd he go to college?
Pitt.
I know. Easy as that.
That one was easy.
Yeah.
The Lobos played Aaron Donald.
I guess that's probably right, huh?
One of those.
When Bob Davie was coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remember that game.
I did find an article that kind of breaks this down. It's from 21, so it's
okay.
A little dated, but The Athletic actually broke it down pretty specifically. So in 2021, 21% of the Pro Bowlers were 3rd round or later.
That seems so low to me, doesn't it? But okay, fair enough. So 1/5 of them. So that kind of beats up my talking points, but okay. All right. There's guys everywhere, man. But yeah, when you start looking at the top of the top, you're right. I mean, even the lineman, Laramie Tunsil was at the top.
Yeah, it said in 21, 50% of all the Pro Bowlers were first rounders.
Half of them.
Yep. 50.3.
All right. So if I say after, I was saying my argument was after the second round, but if I change my argument to after the first round, then I'm right on. All right. I'm okay being wrong, by the way.
When you were breaking it down, it was very interesting because you start thinking about linemen and linebackers and some of those other positions, and you could see how it would skew towards the later round.
Yeah, I just start seeing where some of these guys come from, and just some of the late bloomers and the Kyron Williams guys, and the running backs and the. But you know what? I'll bet the more you think about it, I'll bet the majority of linemen were higher picks. Mm. All right, when we come back, wrap it up. Everything you need to know going into your weekend, what people are going to be talking about as you go through your Friday, and still room for your correspondence at 505-246-0610. It is Friday's edition of the Opening Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football and the Super Bowl.
This is Boomer Science.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
All right, coming up on a big weekend, final weekend of the NFL regular season, and big Lobo game. Wyoming will be in the pit tomorrow. The Lobo women play Boise State tomorrow. JJ will have the call, 2 o'clock tip, 1:30 pregame right here on The Sports Animal. John just hit me with this. I don't get this at all. Why are you guys and KT not encouraged by this team losing by 8? It would have been 6 if they didn't commit that last foul when there was no time left. On the road to the 13th ranked team. On the road. They played very well, and as long time fan I am, more excited than I've ever been. Any other Lobo team would have been blown out in that game, including any of Kenny Thomas's teams. To me, this game showed we belong on our top team in this league and in the country. There's no reason to be encouraged. There's no reason not to be encouraged, and definitely not be down on the team. Have a good weekend, guys. I don't know that anybody's down on the team. If
that's mishearing any of the conversations we've had the entire week about this game.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody's down.
Dude, that was a disappointing performance.
So did that?
You're down by 17 and you didn't have a chance to win that game.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Do you think the story is you lost by 8 and it should have been 6, or you were down by 17 and clawed back to make the final score respectable? They beat you, man. Like Colorado State, you didn't almost win that game on Tuesday. Colorado State beat you. Now, would it have been different if Jalen House was in the game? Maybe it would. You know, he was in foul trouble. I'm not discouraged by that. You lost to the 13th ranked team on the road. Am I more encouraged? They are what I thought they were going in, and I felt the same way coming out. They're a good team that will compete in this league. I didn't get discouraged, but to say, you know, well, they should have won by 6 or should have lost by 6, and I mean, I don't know. And to say, you know, any of Kenny Thomas's teams would have gotten blown out, I'm not sure I believe that either.
No, it's a game that you look at it, you're disappointed because they did not have a chance to win that game. They didn't have a chance to win that game in the second half. And we've talked about it today in our segment with Kenny Thomas. We all still believe in this basketball team. I think they're going to respond. They've been through it last year. The core of this team went through it last year. And I think that this team is better built for a conference on this season with the front court, with the defensive ability of Nelly Jr. Joseph and JT Toppin. But it's a frustrating second half. And if you don't have your best guard on the floor, when Jalen House is that for offense and defensive intensity, it's going to be trouble. But the number that jumps out, and it's where we'll agree with the texter that he's wrong in our opinion about the game he is. He might have just misheard the way we've talked about it all week from the post-game show to here on the opening drive, is if you look at in that, 12 and a half minutes that those three guards were on the floor together, they're plus 12, plus 13?
Plus 12 or 13,
Colorado State?
11, 12, 13.
So I trust that when those guys are on the floor, they're going to get it.
And that's why you and I both came out of that saying, okay, I think they're going to be okay. I think it's an anomaly that Jalen's in foul trouble. I don't think that makes a trend. In the numbers, when the three of them are on the floor together, House, Mashburn, and Dent, makes me feel that they're going to be good, and I think that's going to be the majority of the time. I'm not discouraged, but there was nothing encouraging to say they were better. When I tell you, I think Colorado State was the better team that night. When I watched that game, the better team won. Do you think I'm? I mean, that's not. I'm not ripping on the Lobos. I'm not on that night.
I was disappointed they didn't have a chance to win that game. And when you're down 17 points with 5 minutes left, you don't have a chance to win that.
And that's kind of what it comes down to. Text line 505-246-0610. This says, kicking it with Kenny is the best thing on New Mexico airwaves in a long time. I think it's pretty good, too. So thank you for that from 0807. Appreciate that. All right, here's what you want to know as you go into the weekend. Nikola Jokic, here's what everybody's going to be talking about. The shot that Nikola Jokic hit to beat the Warriors last night. And was it 26-4? Was that the run that the Nuggets ended on? Jokic hits a 40-foot bank shot from the sideline to beat the Warriors last night. 130-127. If you've not seen it, find it. It's if this was in the postseason, this would be one of the most legendary shots in a long, long time. So everybody will be talking about that. You got the final weekend of the NFL season coming up. Dalvin Cook signed with the Ravens, whatever that means. I think some people will be talking about it. We'll see if it means anything. Aggies were winners last night in their Conference USA opener, the first game as a member, a first league game as a member of Conference USA. New Mexico State beat their rival, UTEP, 63-53. They've improved to 7-9 and 1-0. They're off this weekend and will be at FIU, Florida International University, next Thursday for the next Conference USA game. And that's Arizona was a winner, 97-50. And it's noticeable just because the score was so crazy. But 97-50, Arizona put it on Colorado last night as Frank Caliendo sat next to Bill Walton during that game. All right. Biggest thing you're looking forward to this weekend? Is it Lobo basketball? You got a big game for women tomorrow. Is it the NFL stuff? Is it the Buffalo-Miami game on Sunday night?
All the above.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. I'll be out at the pit all day tomorrow. Lobo women versus Boise State at 2. Lobo men versus Wyoming at 8. Be catching the flag football on Sunday, locked in on all the scenarios.
You get one more weekend just to ride the couch, dude. Just ride it. It's going to be snowy, or they're telling me another storm's coming, so you can just ride the couch. Dan, let's get you in before the break. Good morning, Dan.
Morning. What about that alley-oop that Victor gave to himself last night, bro?
That's fair, too.
That was sickness. Yeah. Oh, my God. That was one of the best doubleheader, nights that I've had in a long time. both games were just awesome, man. NBA is getting fired up now. The Greek Freak, what a monster. We've got some bigs in this league now, that are just incredible, man. You can never tell what's going to happen with those guys. That shot last night I jumped out of the couch, man, when I saw that shot. But yeah, Lobos, they're definitely going to be in the mix. I might have used the wrong terminology the other day when I said out of control with Jalen House. Just needs to be a little more, under control.
How about that? No, how about disciplined in the situation? So, like, when he's got 3 fouls, like Kenny Thomas just said, when you got 3 fouls, knowing what you can and can't do.
Yeah, just be a leader. Know what you need to do, and he's so aggressive and so fast. That's what we see from the outside looking in, and he just looks like he's all over the place. But he's a phenomenal defensive player, and I'm not dissing the guy at all, man. I just love the team this year, and B-ball's my game, man. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
go Lobos, go Hawks.
See you. All right, and that's how we end the week. Good week, really good week, 4-day week. Gosh, it's good to be back in the saddle. I feel like I've been out of it for a little bit. Almost got blocked on my hook. I missed it anyway. Thanks to Kenny Thomas for being in with us today on Kicking It with Kenny. Remember, Kenny will be here over on News Radio KKOB after Lobel basketball tomorrow. JG's got Lobel women's basketball tomorrow at 2 o'clock here on These Sports Animals. Jim Rome show is next. Heard with Colin Coward after that. 2 Men On comes your way at 4 o'clock. Adrian, great week. Good. All the video stuff looks great. DC, great week. Appreciate you tremendously. Big weekend for you.
Huge.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. We're back Monday at 7 a.m. with award-winning radio then. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing.
Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. From winter-ready SUVs like Grand Highlander.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
Hi. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible